something that took place across the country, uh, everywhere, all the regions in the country, the 16 regions had the opportunity to elect. And after the election or polls have ended, 14 successful and peaceful, and we have one chaotic Ashanti region, and the northeast is tied, and that will be on the 13th of February. There'll be a rerun over there. The Ashanti region, a date is yet to be set. It's rather unfortunate that we are recording even with this simple election, very simple election. We have still recorded some scenes at the at two regions, which is I would want to say we should condemn. It's uncalled for. It's needless. This is not a political, affiliated election. These are people we believe are just some individuals somewhere, whether politically affiliated or not. We don't want to see political colors. We don't want to see people coming in to say uh, we want our party member to win by all means and all of that. So I'm a weird successfully. And dead now after swearing them into office, they will have their first meeting without the two pending. The two pending, and after they are re-election or the elections are reconducted, you have Gume and join the rest. But Mayor Dedekwe from the Council of State, there's going to be an appointment also made by the president, 11 in addition of them. Okay, so the conversation is wide, but we'll focus on what happened right here. And when we are done, Mia Azode Ngogwe Aga Ama Eyuwo Jole Tepebubu ha akpe mi. So e chọ ifa ye me je gome ha me yo kpo gome he yi de pula miana mia anya tamekpo we've seen Dr. Wako David Kofi Felix Latte Jibrila Buhari Engineer Wolale Kobla Amevo Gabriel Adove Kobla Tanko Kwamega Atokpele, and then Togbiga Adama the third, Togbi Kwemini Gawu Aziganyo Havi the last justice Ketchofs Atengle Godwin Yaira Nkwawu Amegashi God is good Reverend Sifas Kojo Jijienyo. These are the 13 individuals you a contest yesterday's Council of State election, and at the end of the day, the polls according to the names I've mentioned, I'm going to give out the results in that order. Order mame hemenya yonkole kwa ye ko emia akpo Jesse Dedaole, so Dr. Wako ye po amene the ame ene ye ukpo me amene ye dakone ya amene Felix Latte ha kpo ameve you also the all on there, so these two people, so four people for Dr. Wako David, they believe that he's the person to represent the Volta region. Two people also believing that Felix Latte could represent the Volta region close to the president and advising him on the very things that needed to be done for the people. Jibrila Buhari, 0. Engineer Walale Kobla Amevo, 0. Then on the number 5 spot, we have Gabriel Adove Kobla Tanko Kwamega Tokole having 24 votes. 24 people believing in him that he can really represent them at the Council of States, that is the Volta region. And Togwiga Adama the third, 0. Togwi Keminigau, 0. Azi Ganyo have also had five delegates also voted for him. Havi the last justice, 0. We have Ketchofs Atengle, 0. Godwin Yaira Nkwowu, 0. Amegashi God is good, 0. Reverend Cephas Kojo Jijenyo 0. All right, so yenye Jijeje Popo. And interestingly, we still have one rejected ballot. Interestingly, we still had one rejected ballot. Godo godo nebi ya kome yala. Mime lona be. Ame yo me wa campaign o no pok kukuku. Like at the end of the day, one person has decided to give his or her vote to America who haven't traveled anywhere, met them anywhere, discussing any issue with them, and you rejected ballot paper. I check Bodeka. And the total ballots issued to voters, we have 36 of them. The total number of voters, we have 36. And then the total number of ballots issued to the center was 50. Yes, so Council of State election you can EC akodapie hekbo jecho ivaye yepe enmechuchu wenyema. Security presence heavily was there. So let's commend the Ghana Police Service Volta chapter for doing the human's job. The visibility of security there, I was amazed, but it was okay. We need not to, start experiencing some unforeseen circumstances or people coming in to disrupt the election before we are calling reinforcement. So security was indeed tight, and the time given, that's 5 p.m. for polls to close. Yesterday after the show, around 10:30 something thereabout, and I understand that they are done voting and even collating and counting, then declaration. So quickly dash down there to witness the rest. So after the declaration, we have the winner, the one who had most vote, being 24 out of the 36, being Gabriel Hadove Kobla Tanko Kwamiga Atokple. So he is the Council of State member elect for the Volta region. But it doesn't end there. We'll listen to a few things, and when I come back, I will also tell you one other contestant who wasn't pleased with the result, the way the election, went. He is describing it as fraudulent, as not being a free and fair election. That is Dr. Wako David Kofi. We have that also to share with you. What are his concerns? His concerns largely has to do with quite a number of issues. We'll also share that one with you. But before we hear from them, let's do it in this order by hearing from the winner, and then right from the winner side, where he was declared by the presiding officer for the Council of State election, Ernestina Owusua Babahene. She declared the winner. We'll listen to that, then the message from the winner to the people. And then when we come back, we'll hear from Dr. Wako also right here. So let's take a listen to the declaration. And when we are back, we'll go to the winner.
Dr. Wako David Kofi had 4 votes. 4 votes. Felix Latte had 2 votes. Felix Latte had 2 votes. Jibril Buhari had 0 votes. Engineer Walali Kwabla Amevo also had 0 votes. Gabriel Adovo Kwabla Tanko Mawuga Atakli had 24 votes. Tobiga Adamu the third had 0 votes. Tobi Bemini Gawu also had 0 votes. Azi Ganyo had 5 votes. Havi Delasi Justice had 0 votes. Duchess Atakpli had 0 votes. Godwin Yayira Inkuwi had 0 votes. And Megashi, God is good, had 0 votes. Reverend Cephas Hojo Didino also had 0 votes. In all, total valid vote is 35. Rejected ballot, 1. Total vote cast is 36. On that note, I, Ernestina Owusu Banahini, power invested in me as the presiding officer for the Council of State election. I declare Mr. Gabriel Adolfo Kwabla Tanko Mawuga Atakpli, Kwamiga Atakpli, as elected. So finally, declare Adolfo Kwabla Tanko Kwamiga Atakpli as officially elected to represent Volta region to the Council of State. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that is the presiding officer, Council of State election, Madam Ernestina Owusu Banahini, declaring the winner right there yesterday. So after the declaration of the winner, and of course he has a message for the people of the Volta region, the youth, just a short message, and the delegates again. We'll take a listen to that when we come back. We focus on the next one.
Psalm 91 in Habakkuk 2 verse 3. I am really humbled. It is God from the beginning and it is God now. Thank you.
You made promises, particularly the Council of State is an advisory one. What do you tell the people finally? Now you are the member representing the Volta region.
First of all, I would want to say that, of course, yes, Article 89 has been clearly stated about the Council of State, that members of the Council of State are going to provide advisory services to the President. And I'm representing the Volta region in that regard. I would want to say that, yes, of course. I've always said that Volta possesses 60% of Ghana's resources. And I'm going to use that leverage to partner with donor partners across the globe and see how best we can make the region more autonomous.
Finally, before you go, the young people of the Volta region, we are told you are relatively younger, 36. That should be inspiring.
I have always said that it's not about being young, okay? The youth, of course, should be involved in government policies. And I would want to say that I'm going to make a difference. Of course, my voice will be added. At the end of the day, victory will be for the region. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Please, a lot of people are calling for review in the constitution, and it's possible that the review process will come to the council. What's your position on that?
All right, so you hear the other ones to give way. All right, it's all part of the work. Okay, so that's his message after declaring him the member-elect Council of State representing or going to represent the Volta region. He believes that 60% of the country's resources are right here. So it is the best time to, put us on the map, selling what we have to the globe, bringing in investors. And we also have a fair share of development through our resources and probably our tourism sites. Okay. Now, the next one you would go into here has to do with Dr. Wako. He has raised some concerns yesterday after the election. And we'll take a listen to that one as well, where Dr. Wako, has vowed to take the matter, which is the election that he believes was fraudulent. He'll take it up with the NDC leadership, and he'll call them a group of corrupt individuals who parade around a candidate, doing everything possible to prevent other candidates from competing for their own personal gain. He added that he reported the incident because there were some earlier developments to the regional minister. Later, he encountered a group of so-called NDC executives holding a meeting with delegates. However, when he attempted to enter, he was denied access. He stated that he called the party's head office, reported the incident to the police headquarters, and also informed the Electoral Commission. So he says, this is not an election. This is not what the NDC stands for. This is not a democratic way of electing representatives to a credible institution like the Council of State. He emphasized that the Council of State is a respected institution and should not allow anyone to undermine the will of the people. The speaker also, which is Dr. Wako, expressed disappointment, stating that assembly members who often seek help for their problems have now been swayed by money instead of supporting credible individuals who can truly assist them. Then he went on to assure the media that the matter would be escalated to the next level. He reiterated that the police command and the regional minister are already aware of the situation and that he does not need further consultation with them, as he has the right as a Ghanaian to defend the constitution and uphold what is right. He concluded by stating that he does not recognize this as a fair election, but rather a corrupt one. He urged all media houses to report the incident so that the public will be fully aware. So I'm doing my part. You'll listen to his own voice later. So that is Dr. Wako David Kofi, who served as the advisor to the former Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture, Honorable Howard Komson, and also worked at the BOG, Bank of Ghana, and a banking consultant. Epe enya wo wenye mala kodada for megbe ike okpo jijeje le akodada ma ba mene so believe there eme. So the other contestants were not quite visible, but it's about the winner and who feels cheated in the election. So the one who feels cheated, who felt that this was not a free and fair elections, that's his concerns over there, believing that some people were swayed by money, some people's conscience were bought, some people were given monies. But hey, the monetization of our elections, so okay, politics is eating deep. So everything is eating deep, and even we are hearing these allegations at the Council of State level. We have a lot of work to do. If this is anything to go by, then we have a lot of work to do as a people. The Electoral College, we have a lot of work to do. When we are talking about demonetizing the politics, the Ghanaian politics, not making it so expensive so that the people who do not have cannot compete with or rub their shoulders with the rich ones. We need competent people, regardless of you having money or not. So that's the outcome of the elections yesterday, which happened at the Ola Assembly Hall. We'll listen to Dr. Wako, and then after that, there was a meeting with the media where the winners, went extensively to touch on some issues, believing that he winning this is not for him, but it's for the Volta region. He also believed that he's going to do so well in advising the president, making sure that opportunity being given to him, vested in him, he makes judicious good out of it, which will inure to the benefit of the people, and how he is poised to work with everyone. Meka fike ne echo, believing that the crop of Electoral College are very discerning, and he believed this election was free and fair. The people decided, they know what they want, and they have elected who they wanted to represent them.
I will take this matter up with the NDC leadership. If a whole bunch of corrupt people who parade themselves around a candidate
just trying to do everything, whipping, preventing all other candidates, just to make a way for somebody for their personal gain. This is not an election. I reported this to the regional minister yesterday. I met him. I met a group of NDC so-called executives having a meeting with delegates, and I wish to enter. They refuse. I called the party head office yesterday, reported this matter. I reported it to the police command. I reported it to the EC. This is not an election. This is not what NDC stand for. This is not a democratic way of electing people to go to a credible institution like a Council of State. A Council of State is a respected position. We should not allow anybody to subvert the will of the people. And it's sad that assembly members who will go around spread their problem as if somebody should help them. We have credible people to help you. You go and do this kind of election because you collect money. Because of what? Because of what? Because of what? I want to tell the media today, this matter will go up. This matter will be taken to the next level. The police command is aware. The regional minister is aware. I don't need any consultation with them. I have a right as a Ghanaian to defend my constitution, to defend what is right. So if you call this election, I am not calling it an election. It is parading people to select somebody to go and represent their interests or whatever. So now, all the media houses, please carry it out. Prove it to the world that we want a respected people with integrity to be in the Council of State. Then we will see the relevance of Council of State. Thank you very much.
All right. That is Dr. Wako David Kofi right here after the declaration of results. Here we are paying us allow. So, Volta region, agitation there, Ashanti region, chaotic, North-East tied, and that will be there'll be a re-election or rerun tomorrow for the North-East and the Ashanti region. The date is yet to be set. All right, so we have all that updates just we've shared with you. Ya quick be me makulu ya penya salale ike cho akodada hekoyi. Akele miomi agboa no sianu jinwe asidodora mereke bome ya manya deke omevai egede tepia hewanu ike mejebe newa awao. Tame dongo he epochi abota na emi ape kpovito do fe donyu ike wowo echota onofuma ofe jejeme eje eye ameyo kata nwajo wa make sure benu si ayinu yinyu a eyinyu ne make akodado opache owa woto sono be akod no togbobe the 8 o'clock schedule to metenje egometututu ha at the end of the day no si anu pa ewo eyinyu ekpan before the 5 p.m. ike wodobel wa awu akọ awu akọ dada no 5 p.m. I cannot da call for then collation yi jinu si anu zonwe eye nkeke a ameyo kata bubo troid ofe dogbe a woyi de ofe dogbo. There are some fallouts apart from what you have heard, and those discussions must continue till the next election. There are certain things we need to work on towards our elections elevated. But let me hear from you. The one going to represent you at the Council of State, joining the other appointees that will be made by the president to represent you. What do you make of your representation? 0247 900 764. If you have a congratulatory message you'd want to share, you can also send us a text or call 0203 766 500 0247 900 764. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Sister Julian.
Yes.
Ako Robert Chuago Chimakote.
Okay.
Nida kwena mauwe echo. Lechi evafan kekari kia. Yapa assembly member se wo mutefo uchia domenyuto amedorula bene nye America dodang ne amugang tome. akpeno abele ko ba wo don ye no tanku a amesha menye agbelime kle etemeni enya mereke wona do enya mereke cho de lemene amegbeto fuma negede staff ntu mekweto kata football gala kweto ke noji mele ntu ama tanku e sponsor na programu tanku ejana baba ekpenade amun hospital kweto taninya be yo kotefe ya ekpesegede amuganto mun menya danku adamudede kudugo le na dukolo ihe ifo wole owomonoge ike amuganto mena ayingo nyano via ke mokpo jirudu Dr. Wokwa ife jinefa election ya nyene mako yinema enwo jona gakenwe ike kumi omi gboko nyebe nyebe do da ko fi o fi amareko ona abejimu de ka ike amabla etovo ademaike kata akoda ga o ko list on candidate de shade o de shade gbo tani be cho ye be over camp mo nya council of state 2019 na contest primary they are doing pile Ketunok 2023 ha contest kake ebe o mokoko mesere afmo egbe a ela fi ko le tai ha me no ba wo na ne ke opobe ye ma won yu eto ha no te frade akpe amede ha never.
All right, hello, good morning.
Good morning, Sister Jijo.
Papa.
Yeah, I'm Christopher Kecho Airport.
Okay.
That when I'm over a chopper to do a JG Fafada. Ochama. I'm a blogger, Dr. Yakuba, or election alarm or fail. Yatafa and Yatafanya. The NDC playing people. I do election, I do have executive, which a charm, Betilla. Mọbụ Jonathan ikewate amerere amioji enyale ke ko one ya ne ebola elefofone we amerere adurala wa de oda kabale album eme nolo sipa wona be victor nya chu regional be ameke yoji kwa onyanu ike kuwa tanya maki amema globe close meeting de ba yiji eyeke regional minister buguna toche lemela enye nyatwe tamachiwe ma agbulebere Mr. Ora nanyebe nu abaku ora
Christopher me kpote fo ga kele bumbe anye nyatwe la be bu ibe sigbo wo joy.
Okay can me kwesi dia because ojona NPP me ojona NDC me ta nanyebe ki ora timato agero investigation ya chemela ma like papa document ma global is early days yet Ike Abanake Honorable Afanyomaki we are going to know the true colors of the umbrella. Imagine colors of Bubono, Nova Chakota, no one more. America Global, 32 years, there are Mechula and Yamani Mahorajikro. 32 years la. Wisdom la, Nunya Solomon, but any of Israel. Tanunya, Alamanya, Chikakakata, I don't have down. I will not feel like a signal. Amado had the Vichuku, I cannot down, no, let para. Hey, let's have food, you know, our Aqua de Vietola, Ellen Cobuta, AJ Lanima, whoever, everybody take it 2 years, Tamato down, Jupola, ow. AJ, Amega, me no did Accra.
You
at the Vichuki, so Jioba had
you are Bebe, Wesebe, Melechichimo. Hello, good morning.
That is your mere phone.
Me force send hello, me ochede.
I'm on time your phone.
Akbenamao.
If you're an work a well of formula Ghana. Canada Akbenamao. Doctor, that's too Becky. To go back, if I don't do play for 4 days. That is your mother cuckoo. Ejele ife nyauma tuko be didudu amete susi ohala adanuma onye evonye bajiola akencha na domura bosusu be ne onua na kokota na koko doba amgantu na ide ngogbe eye adandudu mahame kele mi atafa fife na de edukula tafa sister jijo tafa cheka falo efo manyi amado no nyata fele tafama nuka gobi ote kokoko fi ne amugantoa bona tigada bere mi no ga no fa pene mi akoko do nku ojie itene no fi bubuto tanko ike amu mikata wo yon bi se be eye o na di bi cho be ye le nyango a ne ja gba no afa mi ba ape
Okay.
bana efo na bana ga ba le fi mo la me gbo be to fe pa dan dudu mo o do dan yin ne dupolara ye mi ale yo fa
Akpe.
ifon ko anan tegbe akpe
Former clean Akpe whoever onyo. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, Jijo.
Yes.
I got Winton of you original Michael Dekaji.
Okay.
Yeah, well, the one Jidelo.
Yeah,
Yo. Congratulations, and mem, Mama Keduji. Going there are a lot of natural resources whenever anybody and then another president what focus so we can develop the year. Because me and never gonna quit talking about iron lemon. Akuba as a door doing things over Akobe. That can mean to make a loser. And you have a very below. Men Ruba, I'm making a good euro. That is not the way democracy is played. He's talking about the monocracy of it. I'm going commenting to clarify there. No man now look I'm not going to for the gather, and it has happened. And I am pretty clear. Let your mind, you yourself go and I bet you party. They came on.
Original Michael, you are alleging that it has happened. Although you know that it has happened. And you have the proof. And alleging that it has happened both Flamewelo, although you know and you have the proof, Ben Yatepe Flamel.
I'm a ticket for the contest and enter the global plan openly got it. And to go for me, no one will ever know it for me.
A well,
yeah, the
Original Michael, you
democracy, NBC, see no corner gun, influence now. We're looking at more about what these are things that happen in giving entities. When you're talking of your own mutual. Coming on mountain, that everything in the middle of said Ghana. And you are doing the same role of those people in corrupt ways. No.
All right, so
one of the contestants is also with this fella.
Original Michael, what he's saying is an allegation. Because every the matter take up, but no take it up. And you know, I'm
making it more for you. I'm going to let
you. Mark Global allege because Mark Global allege, but you and I should know be until proven la it is an allegation. So that is a contest. I'm a Woyiza, and we've not heard so much from the others, but this gentleman has issues and he has raised them, and we brought it to the general public. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Sajijo.
Yes.
I'm okay.
Hey.
Ekwa, nyamero mi pontefe into. And yakitomi said it. Me pick intelligent where ground.
Okay.
Let me say emphatically. India, but me that when Council of State members get to Dakona. Oduji, Yowenzo, Ero Kotera Jinebe, in my head, Masi, the vandalism, actually, poetic issues, Mamadi. Many, Majami, never democracy, no beautiful, never democracy. Then you have $100. You have a worry to say it. Quite in voter region, one of the candidates, Beju Majara Probe. That night, me senyawo the two men. One candidate the government made that 10,000. You had that 20,000. Start the job. It's a fact on the ground. This Council of State reflects of voter region, but not Dakar. I'm telling you on authority, it's a fact.
Do you have the audio recordings?
No have audio, but and you hear me already. Me say that to me.
Okay.
I heard it clear. Even America, ele raise them. No, you order 10,000 and you order 20,000.
Which means that I'm your beteo le race and what daga.
Yes,
Is that what
some
you're
of them.
insinuating?
Some of them. There are 2 contenders in this voter regime. There are two main contenders. One is a divisional chief. One is a businessman. The businessman, I the Texas Hotel. I went to Texas Hotel, small camp, a delegate or whether. And within that night, one candidate about American, the other contender, get delegate or whether. It's a fact on the ground. But the Texas Hotel, no, some account. And you know, it's a fact that I know already. Let me like boy, me got to go. Yes, we are monitoring things on the ground.
Yo, where Delo? I'm we have a lot of people out there.
I'm a security person, so I know what I am saying.
All right, welcome now. What was your issue actually in what you've told us? Hello, good morning. Yes.
Okay.
Hey.
Epone yembe ezamna na yele levi ne le po doche bodasio yembe na report amelo. Na report amelo ko kebe o chela e mbele vide. Ne mo amele ezamna ke nyanyi ko report ne ko vito. E ko vito je no le nu ma o po nu kata o ma tama la me so vide wo nya ben ma ise crime. O ben na la ko hola pete o jago. Ta ya le kure no ne ami pa mi ole na kore. Afi nya chi nu ko. Chi re jere me pa mi ko na no lewe.
Yeah.
Tajijo egbe nemi le koda America me choko do ọpọlọ ko be wada ko kimi do hin America ko ne be o le checha lo nke ya ko gate do che ya o yo na electoral commission so be no ba po koda ya wona yiwe be mission na yi yire.
Yeah.
Egbe na mere be o bayi koda me chumo me nyire o ye wa electoral commission le lo ko le do ji po yi ape no be te wa igodogodo. All
right, so akpaya akwa dejesi doko benu yo tepe yikpo a ina isinya enya kpovito nya ina regional minister nya nu yo he yikpo. So in the election everything was clear. He has no issue, but he feels that like money was given to people to vote. That Akodadaya is not the democratic one. Election.
If you go over here, a down, no bueno, let you a congo bay. Tamia minutes, I'm a girl, crack and no that down, offline, Galile, the Menyawa and the person. What a report you will like Paoli, that is your well a dollar. That's what the vineyard finds you, if you want to down call.
Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Mama Dijo.
Papa.
John, I hear you. Taco Jofia. My own Puna knew the Mama Dijo. I can just read it. That means that the Ulu Garden of Mama Dijo. Pick out you.
Pick out you.
But a quay.
Abeleke. Edde Duma. He's from the southern part
of
the vote.
I mean, I book at Tiachori. Kuku Demelelu. Didn't I get you?
No fear be few choye na ta okpo jidudua.
No. Mele chokoda be ne ba ke chodi. Elemia me yu kele yo elemia asusuple fi ni chudi elemi gbo sugbe. Aba be family and friends kiga we dojo a mama jijo.
No be eyo meto ya lo fo odofo ma.
Menye gbe gbo mele olu. Me gbo odofo mo.
Okay.
Alba me le contest le adi ga state north me sendiki. That my just the nose ben kecho. Onya no de bi be de. Ele mi gbo ogbe. anya de kuna me ti ube no len ke popo afi baba fly de choi ke bombe we so ba job o njira ni sala aba re ko ba de an to ro krime o ba me se me ka wa ti ala o le ti aso be ri mo ba so agbabu wo e ka mama jijo
Okay.
ka me po chora lu me le gbegbo
Okay.
e cho po me le be no li popo afi baba fly e choi ke bombe akpe ni o le doju
Yo, akpekakaka, maho mamleto lakpaya. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Saijo.
Papa.
Ini kwa bota ne tanko nenyo. Kakenya ki apeto ke to fifi la, to sa la. Ko shi makleon. No me pocho enye be me no fuma cho. Me po le fuma. Uke me nyo acho wenye be pa dia wa campaign pa. Echo o process o vete no gleon le finien. Kwa niela. Afi overwin. Kakela ono ko blame. O ba me do na 500. I'm on a 500. I'm not flying back for Chamo, la Fimier. America, I'm in a Pobito, Chakuyowa, Omedoyoto, no, I have to go away. We do done on the new water, that's all.
Okay. Akpekakaka. Yo, China. Akpe. All right. If you have a China, to be a nyabeno la mereto global belede ka ochewa. Towede vitukwito ka oche ete kwa fe meteum. And now for I see it well, I know my but you know some of these things you can't come and be saying that this is what you did and no you can only talk about AK ego against you. All right, so that is it. Now Council of State election at Choivai, which we were believing there will be a peaceful and a quiet one as it has always been. Not until recently, Mivakbo attention, Ikevavanezo interest being expressed by a lot of people, and we had a young one, so no meza. Now the youth are believing when it comes to leadership position. Yuanya meyu atenwa no du Congo akblodu anami egbe mi dota flash be mi meton hela me se nya ovena ami mi apenya sala kama kwa sebe echiele dodo. We can still testify that from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and today, Wednesday, I may you go edolo, but I'm speaking for you. So let's know, let's hear from you where if you want to let us know, yes, you can do that. Send us your messages on 0203 and WhatsApp messages 0203 and the MTN line is always for phone calls. Yo, mi apenya salau. Mia ayaga atro agbo. Avaide nyajojo fe akpa mamleo enami minute bla efevo ade ye fo le ga andreji le mi ape do pa me le afi. Mia ya trogbo ne mi trogbo a mi avayi edojina mi.
It's the Global Morning Show.
O2 City. And this is to all lovers and friends. Are you ready for an unforgettable Valentine's night? Of course, who wouldn't be? So, O2 City Entertainment Bar and Restaurant invites you to a night of love, music, and merriment on February 14, 2025. And come enjoy our 360-degree photo booth, red carpet interviews, and feel like a star. Now you are a moon. So come and feel like a star. And then groove to melodious saxophone music, live music, and dance the night away with our guest DJ and hype man. The carpet night starts at 6 p.m. with the red carpet session, so don't miss it out. Just get something nice, red, white, your favorite color, looking so Come take pictures, your friends, your loved ones, your church members, your co-tenants, and visit O2 City. It's all about Valentine's. Let's get a weekend busy, making memory once again. 0248630775 as the number to WhatsApp or call on. 0248630775 to reserve your exclusive VIP package. Don't wait. Make this Valentine's Day one to remember at O2 City Entertainment Bar and Restaurant. And still with Valentine's at African Hill Hotel and Resort. They are here for you and with some wonderful packages. It's called the Valentine Escape. So couple 60-minute massage, 60-minute massage begbelo. You don't know what that means. Okay, private sip and paint, complimentary green tea, and you pay just 514 Ghana cedis. That's so crowd. And then we have another package which has the 4-course dinner for 2, live music, complimentary champagne, yummy fruity ice, dessert 450. Guide local tour of local attractions, waterfalls, Monkey Village, evening bonfire with wine 1,800. And then we have one night stay in a premium suite, complimentary wine, 1 chocolate, romantic room setup, couple massage, breakfast, lunch, and dinner inclusive. 2,400 Ghana cedis. 2 night stay, room decor, lunch and candle light dinner, complimentary wine, a chocolate, breakfast in bed, 2,450. So these are the packages. One night, 2 nights, play along. Yes, strong. You have African Hill Hotel and Resort. Fima out there one now for package you at Valentine's celebration. One year, Jimmy Mangolo Beckpo, Nkoko song, Quano Miami Trobova, a Feme. I've been about dead Jumian on your menu. What is your problem? I work at dead Joe on your menu, then a Feme, Nkoko Soko. What is it? Ukoko so kwano afiere. Ayo 0368 267 501. 0368 267 501. I got one check akpolole 0208 267 501. Egama kwasio. It will help you in a long way. Remember the June on your mate. All right, so African Hill Hotel and Resort, the best place to be. At the Jola, spice up your relationship, your marriage. Oh God, Frank, what is your problem?
Your good morning. Okay, good morning to the masses.
You're quite alone now.
The masses, me actually message you. I'm alone. You good morning.
Okay.
In dinner, do I do everybody in dinner?
Femeto.
The view.
Au fond.
Chichao.
Ole.
Novio.
Odo.
So.
Ole.
Akbenamo. Me ala me takbo.
Yeah, oche.
Enyaki mi bro, o dejo, o ne open la me. Agbo
Yes.
baba pe mechicho anoi.
Sure.
Yeah, enyagane kimi yata mile nukuro. And actual fact, it's good to hear that this morning. In a sense, be mele poga le stormo. Nukoko.
You have to make it.
That
So
me couldn't.
let's help you make it at African Hill Hotel
All right.
and Resort this Friday. Don't miss it. You come take pictures. O2 City is also inviting you. So it's all about, traveling from one joint to the other, drinking, eating, marrying. Just imagine at the end of the day, let's talk about Dome Monday. You see how active you will be. Kaka ko wufi enu. It's a reset of the marriage too. Anyway.
So the Oxygen City is full of events at drinking sports.
Sure.
Drinking sports here and there. You.
Okay. No, it doesn't mean that you're going to drink and booze and be misbehaving.
Yes, anyway. I brought you 2 issues this morning.
Okay, let's hear them.
Well, I'll tell them more just cover all the do the more you go at a ramp where are the more a chop zamne. To Fiave, about opposite Fiave Global Church. More melefimi examen around 7 to 8 men at work.
Global Church.
Global Fiave.
Epen
Kume
and they are from
I don't
Urban
know.
Roads or
Urban Roads nano do azame 8 p.m. So me the kuku me the tato me the kuku me bere emo nenyu. If you more menu ogale do the deji.
so okay, so we'll find out whether the church is the one doing it. Have they asked permission? Even if they've asked permission, they will not give them the authority by themselves to do it.
If it, at that time, so what is the agency on that way, concerning that way? That is 8 p.m. One of them, and that's not the only one. No. There's one in front of the nurses training. I think 2 nurses training entrance. All of them. And for me, a more kekemedi, a more tanedo funara, ne. Akpova for Peter Parker, Akbarika, Wavano, Cafe,
Okay, so the necessary training concern any a moment ke parking.
Me parking crash. Oh, the ramp were there for me. Ramp.
But they have one already.
No, to quit Toma, Taviola converted to the big one. I Faja Toto.
Okay, so that's a school. School if you mean. No, Paul and Len.
But my issue is the nature of the road. We want them.
You want it widen?
Widen and okay, smooth. That's my problem.
So the ramp causes inconvenience on the road.
Exactly.
But
and moreover, to go a long way to destroy the road.
Okay. So ramp wawa. What's the purpose? The essence of it?
Well,
reduce
the speed. But is it serving the purpose? Are they serving the purpose?
To an extent, we will say yes or no.
Sorry.
So maybe
I can tell her Freedom Hotel from you regret. So some of these things I was
the one at the neutral could Agbasia for sensitive
yes
any for potato
any for but if you be jokpata to him no budget and he will hope manual the same way the same thing kele to me house road kejeji if you be document for yata gba fun ira jokpata do man
da lolo
if you be we en keko wo jeji well agbafu ketowe
for the one akpare ofuna
nyere
afi o akpare the more akpare o les azan for
akeko wa ke he unya keko ya hui kwa wo jeji zo egombe
it's a busy road. It's a busy road,
so whole and more while no factor more put them so
okay so urban no that's urban road.
Yes,
if this has not gotten to your notice yet, we say good morning to you.
Yeah.
So you go on inspection on the roads and see who are those damaging the roads. Who have you authorized to cause damage to our road in the name of constructing ramps? Okay.
And you have ECG. ECG, you have a missed call
from the masses.
The masses.
Oh, ECG for missed call. I also want to.
Can you imagine? I'm not for 1,000 for 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. If you approval open common your system more. So they have to bill and accumulation. Can you imagine this difficult Ghana?
All right, so I understand some homes over the meter dolina meadow. Even though they don't have issues.
That one is different
thing.
Yeah, this one.
So that's also one thing we may have this public notice about Zao. And I would have said it here. Maybe a platform or in any of their write-ups where you let them out.
So this is
but they come
killer.
And then they explain to you they are from ECG and this is what they are undertaking. And this one is meter and then what the new development?
So
ECG talk about open
common system. So how do they acquire the meter? Customers say where ECG common acquire meter and over there over Glen. You all prepared for the year. Make one and mede ECG. Seriously, can you imagine? I'm a chichiwe. Oh, all the deal of Femeko. All of a sudden, I'm not prepared for where you might say go to ECG. Go to ECG for explanation. You go there and watch now. Sorry, your system, your meter is not in our system, so you have to pay S amount so that to be restored. Then the meter will go forever. You will not even see it again. You have to start the process all over. Can you imagine? Who does this? Who does this in this Ghana? And we all know, you back for the fee, near to her, a high her, maybe a separate meter. You know the process, you know how difficult it is, how frustrating it is to acquire a meter. Yeah, here I'm here, after so many years.
Oh, are you talking about a postpaid meter?
No, prepaid. I'm talking about prepaid. It's happening right now. So when you go to the office, they have cases over 800 cases.
Don't they purchase these customers of ECG? You over a call system. Prepaid.
Yes, it's just happening at night or a day. Oh, if I prepaid for a you can buy again.
Oh, okay.
I know you may take and you have a two.
But your name is not in our system. So what does that mean? They'll come for the meter.
They'll disconnect. The fiber disconnect from above.
From source and then.
So you can't buy prepaid anymore.
So how do you get water? How do you get power?
So you're in the dark.
And who do they pay again?
So you just have to go and formalize it.
And take another meter.
Yes.
And that one is going to take about how many?
That only God knows.
Okay. Oh, all
only
right.
God knows.
Madam Eunice Triniboa, good morning. We need to get back to you on this one.
Yes.
And please be willing to speak to us. Don't just smile, but tell us something. Okay. So by tomorrow, I'm sure you should come back and then with something concrete. Whatever excuse be given, we'll also tell our listeners excuse.
My finding shows that they have over 8,000 or 800 cases with them.
All right, so let us know if you've been affected by this. Nanyabe enyaike gbolo apeto abole ekao be doku kekerekare fo be ibe abaple prepaid ko obeta flache nko melo o eleke nkonye melo fine nkonye yi ya le ko joy isi ditova de meter nawa o de meter na eleke ga pojo le zazan e fe hehere let me call it why I want to know the concerns, how worrying that situation is. If you've been affected, a friend of yours has been affected, just draw our attention to it by sending us a text 0203-766-500, 0203-766-500. And I'm Chocho could open meter and I have a message here talking about my light goes off at least for 5 hours every day. Oh, really? Which area is that? And water one also here. Till now, water is not yet flowing at Sunrise SHS community. we are suffering. They should do something about it for us. Shining Star. Okay. Shining Star, well, your message will get to them. We are hopeful that because we are more than
the oxygen city, and this will be happening to us.
We are more than the liters or the gallons of water you're preparing for a day. In a day, take the chia over 24 hours. Here you wanna by 6 p.m. or so, a.m. to the next one. A dada, 18 you dada, and then 7 medewe, then 11 evanamiawe. So the 11 in a day la. Imagine how many households will share that 11 gallons of water a day. So the issue about we not having adequate water, the aga persists for some time, even when the new pump is in, until expansion works. Yes, until expansion works. That's the only thing that can solve. That's the only thing that you can me at for I don't have water. So, Ghana Water Company, we know you are doing your best, but PRC is doing the work for you. So speak to us, just as you told your MD that you'll be speaking to us. Don't just MD whilst you don't do that over here. So the PR department, which is still refusing to be addressing the media on critical issues and giving it to the PRC to be doing for them. So I don't know whether you go and share your money with them at the end of the month, and you are relaying call part of your work. Call it right now, and then your page has become dormant, and then the PRC page is now active. Seriously? With ECG with water. What is that? Ghana Water page is there. That page is now empty. PRO doesn't respond to anybody, any concern at all. She doesn't. It's a she. She doesn't. Rhoda, good morning. It's a she. I don't add the other one. So please don't be doing some of these things. And PLC, they are your regulatory body, but you've made them your 2IC, your spokesperson for the PR department. But your clients, let me now let toku then you are not agitating, I'm not speculating. So what I mean for Nunami, me have so many call, me a call on Aduajakwa, and let me a no me until that day. Me have said $52 million in your own baby. Me here now cocoa expansion work. I mean, have you? Qu'est-ce que le voit du col bleu? Everyone dead Joe on your info. I send me message. It's okay, you know, couples to spice up there. So let's move on. I'll take in our listeners to the portals, sharing with them what is there to know. But we've been joined in studio by our colleague Priscus Akon.
Yes.
How are you, gentle boss?
Good morning, Joyce. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning.
I was listening on your conversation about Ghana Water and all of that. You know my problem with you, Joyce, on this Ghana Water and ECG.
You said I've been pampering them.
Just been pampering them, to be frank with you. To be frank with you,
I let you have ever.
But let me better fracture mount to a attack, but you
like you say,
let me have me talk with you by now. Tafra me Jack Bolo. In Chochike Jack or Siagbe, Mountain now Jassy Bello. A year la menuve. Voyager 1 week cake there forever. Oh, but no, the reality is that you see, if you're able to get some aqua tabs and do some purifications by yourself, you're able to use for some of the things. But trust me, I'm a domain no apeme chapi chikimija. A chikimija sigbe, I'm a domain no apeme cho. And we've been hearing this HPZ issue for long. Neme don kuji thank you, menya penene kimi, but thank you Kofi Gamo how no fear. Yeah, water was done over HPZ with the high pressure zone tala HB pump and then
2018.
They've been saying these things for long. It's just I believe the PR department behaving. Sigbekwe, like a PR department Sigbekwe, and it's item. I like what you just did this morning. The PR should be able to speak to us. Never denyami, and it shouldn't be PRC Towe. The regional minister, it doesn't really make it for us. We are in a city, and municipal for
they
that
have
matter.
even issues at their own working of the treatment center. They have issues.
To over dome emoji for me vina. Draw courage, you want to and more back by the and I'm sure but over do one a day now offer for me. But you see, Messi Banto eke or more left for me water restore now offer for me. So what is the long-term measure? Like oh work more do ogle dan sibe.
That's the norm.
Ogle dan sibe. Yes. So what is the why we're in a way be what are not like what we concrete system be na hu la menye nuke he wa wo bo no fu ko ezu more do them more me talking. Me here chi. Mi le sel again plete fede dolele plete to we hele chacha if amenwi do ki we ndudu do plete to ki beti ne echima na yin amegbeto trona okplo amodo le gbe me however you may want to echi me yo ai gbe mu
oye ndo kupo ndo wo fe dare gbe me gba
fede bi akwa mejo le umbu nova za chicken na fiye
abejuro le kebe gale so abeza le do wa fe me echimelo
I thought we to self-contained.
Eya ga wese na nyalo because that one on talk wele me no gbe na egbele anome na nyue anome so no wa dolo echi amenya mega sogbo ga ke le mama me a no donku ne fi ovu na me de no donku oji no mega vu na okay o na me de che ne kpo no njo de akpama na
they should work on their pipeline ki we hit after to modu do me here wo gba pele talk ni we la benye do dave area me fin pipeline gede we akpobe ovuchilo ba che here ya me ba me ele dripping for ekele do there a moment esubo and there's open number they call direct call to free fleto ayofiti the flash America melenya so and in the area I am open a privy to is what I'm mentioning.
Sure.
When you get to around Dave,
some also happen in my area. Dona ko ayo ko and they don't even know some of the areas. When you draw their attention that this is happening here, you have to be giving fikaiki, and then they don't even go at a flache. They matter. Their surveillance no be app video. No, Magan office echo no. They should go around and look at some of these things also.
They are trying.
The leakages are
trying.
Out of the 11 echo leak now, how many gallons anye eke leak now? Tale ne de 11 put to crowd maybe academy ake leakage also.
When leakage ne report na PRC, it will take them like 2 weeks. Then while you're back ready, no he report today. Oh, nah, you're gonna be small way now. You can better when I got boy for me.
Yeah, I'll check.
And the last time the lady called me from the office and said, hey, I have found a problem and I report to you. It's your duty to follow up. I've given you a location. Why would you be calling me? Oh, but when I call you, is it bad? I say, yes, it's bad.
It's bad. It's bad. You are paid to do that work. I am helping
but they
you
are
as a citizen.
PURC, they are trying. They are doing their best. Ghana
as for them, their response is swift.
Ghana water ton de chewa ole.
Okay, me apenya salau, me ayi doji. Agetting na jong lopao, mubudo cho ga domoda. E yo le jojole me agbo, ne me na me nchocho le nunti kwa. Me ada for de wonu. E ko cho le jojole te pes mamlewa. Yo cheno o le kala loko, odua me agbo la fita. Me agere the papers, the headlines.
Yes, let me start with Daily Graphic. Daily Graphic, President direct Finance Minister to fill $156 million USAID funding gap.
Yes, so where do we get the money from?
So let me introduce another task.
Unfortunately, Yovo USAID. Mi non kose nunala alo dolao amoyo gbo ba kwa dollar video cover no be nke USA de to ko kenami alo dodo ngolo na de ko agban lo nuzi o yon ko ina de deprived communities so bete alo dodo mo bete duklo la ye na America be enyo ajaya o mawe
maga kwadwo
you say Yeah, I mean, I do say for because oh, I've never me mega vale susu tafla cello the birthday. We need to put something somewhere for situations like this. So we thought it's going to be there forever. Fifia, I'm 52 million.
156 million dollars.
Yeah, Fifia finance minister le beneji. Fino le jito egbe yin kuro to kuma elo alo fine. Akwa feel dollar gam akpama apemi ape dodo che wa to anga no ji.
Ape mi le 52 million eji akwa me ape chipon.
52 million dollars. Then 15 book Council of State seats. Violence mad Ashanti region election is just sad.
So we understand it's 14 successful.
Yes.
1 tie northeast.
Yes.
Wagwawe. Ashanti region che. Wagwaga ya che.
Then the issue of the day, which everybody is
so let me say, I'm still asking. Council of State election. Jaga trozo no yimiga experience. We are going somewhere. We are going somewhere gradually. If we made that for fear as citizens, we may all like citizens on a national base, so we are just leaving it on the politicians and all of me. La fide do bebe elections.
I'm finding it difficult to get it. Why party executives?
The election of the Council of State.
I'm finding it difficult to. Maybe I stand to be corrected. Because never America no need to America for that. Never do that on a president. Do never partition again then.
Well, so
you see, it's a general issue.
How the delegates are, even appointed. I just told it's a procedure.
So it's a general issue. All right. Like yesterday, I said it, but at this point. And at every stage the interest is there. All right, even if you backtrack it to MMDCU when we're talking,
we had a lot of people applying.
The call for general reforms is important.
Yes.
Exactly. That would have to even look at the relevance of the Council of State in our present political dispensation.
Yes.
And see what modifications or enhancements we can do even to their role. Because if you go through the Constitution, it looks as if what they are doing would have been done in a more efficient way. You understand? Because we have about 2 advisors, sector-specific advisors to the president.
Sure.
We have regional ministers.
Advisors at the presidency, yes. We have there.
We have regional ministers and government appointees to the district assemblies, all of them who are supposed to work in the interest of whatever government would want to do. All right, so if we are still doing the local government stuff, then the MMDAs should be able to meet, do their planning, send to the region also looks at it, sets priority areas, then submit to national for whatever development to go on. What council is the person going to provide to the president and on what? Over the period, we've had issues where some of them who were members came out to say, well, we offer counsel and it is not taken. You understand? And the people who say this are no less of important and learned people. We can't take Toby Apede for granted to say that he'll give counsel.
It's not taken.
He'll be part of people who give counsel and should be, in quotes, ignored.
So it's like the interest is there to serve as a counsel to the president, but also another thing for your counsel to be taken. And if it's always not taken, then what is the essence of we being there?
And all of that. And you see, people bring in the cost factor. Yesterday there was that calculation that this is. I wouldn't want to mention it.
Sure.
But if you look at the amount earned,
it's good everybody should know.
The amount earned by these people who serve on the Council of State. Do they go to a 5 to an 8 to 5 job, or what do they do? How many times do they meet before they are drawing this monthly salary?
So let's see another side of this thing. Could they use the opportunity given to them by some few people called delegates, okay, to represent a whole region? to use that opportunity to bring some developmental projects. Because after counseling the president, we know that you could also have some, opportunities, networking with other people, donor partners, and all of that. Could you use that, portfolio to bring something to your home? If we want to leave the other conversation about what do they do, their relevance, we want to scrap. Yes, that conversation is also there.
If we look at the arms of government, right? The legislature, judiciary, and then the executives, we are clear to put Council of State as part of the executives, right? And it opens you up as a member of the Council of State in its structure that we are practicing it now. Opens you up to a lot of opportunities and other things. You are sitting with the president of the country, which means that there are conversations that would come to you that an ordinary person wouldn't know. You'd be privy to opportunities and all of that. So you have what it takes to be able to lobby, to be able to speak to some people to get some things. But are we saying for such a role, we cannot have it modified in any other way? You understand?
Should it be modified? Because one of the newly elected members,
from a region, right? From a region, let's try to see how many people can actually give opinion on things happening in a region. All right. So to the president, we have the regional minister who can give opinion or counsel on what should be done in a region. We have MMDs, right? We can equally do the same thing. And then we have various MPs. Are we saying that they cannot, as a block, have conversations that can present stuff?
So let's leave the MPs out. We know the MMDAs are to see to developmental works in the region. They go to lobby. Yeah, the agents we see representing the president.
If we strengthen our local government system and make it more efficient, I'm sure some of these things, Council of State and all, might not be, yes, perhaps might not be in the structure.
Let's see how it goes in the constitutional review, because they would also need to advise the president on that. If you are here now for the last 4 years and you advise the president, okay, now president will appoint 11 plus the 16. Opega, and the other
for me,
things.
I would want to take the opportunity to congratulate Tanko on winning this. I think by whatever argument somebody you have, there's a widespread support for him. I've not heard of all of the other delegates who contested like I've heard of him and all of that. So yes, congratulations to him and all of that. It's refreshing to know there's a youth exuberant person who is going, and we hope for the best and wish him all the best as well.
All right, let's proceed with the rest of the.
Okay, so the issue on table is being discussed everywhere right now is government has issued a letter to revoke everybody that has been appointed before December 7th or recruit.
That has been in the pipeline.
So I think
the letter is out now. So I mean, you better hurriedly. You have to go back home.
It's a sad situation.
Yeah.
I've listened to a lot of commentary on this from yesterday, and I'm like, this is a sad situation. I wouldn't wish it for anybody.
Seriously.
I would not wish it for anybody.
And I would say I would blame the politicians every day. You see, we stop doing this to your constituents. And you have a year later, so you have
let's look into the books. Are they qualified individuals?
Exactly.
No, so that's the first thing. The first thing is to revoke it.
No, but before somebody also raised a question that the tenure of the president ends at December 7th.
No, so you see, it's transition.
No.
Yeah. But before then, you know that you are leaving office, so you need Constitution has given you the room to prepare.
No, there are some things that you cannot do. Is it during the period of transition?
Is it in the Constitution? Like
yes, there are some things you cannot do.
You cannot recruit.
Fundamentally, you cannot take economic decisions issues that will border on economics and finance.
Okay, so
largely on.
I agree with you. So
that.
this goes back to this Council of States. What advice
so it does
this issue?
border on transition and respect for the process. All right, before elections, 3 months before elections, all whatever agencies are expected to start doing their handing over notes.
Yes.
You know why it's 3 months? Because you can't tell what would happen after.
Yeah.
So you do it prior to. But in the country
so
in
they can
which
prepare,
we live in,
look if there's any stringent measures to be taken, they look into all of that
because
within
when
that
you,
3 months.
when
Is
you
enough.
do, the transition committee would also take those documents and work with. But in the country we live in, that is not strictly adhered to.
I'm at them all appoint. I'm at the office. SIC.
Yes.
I can't be my job. To dope which in our appointment don't know if you take
no, if a letter is saying the date is saying something.
the last minute
the
stuff
letter issued
would always be questioned because what prevented you from doing it prior to?
Yes.
And the ones that you are doing the last minute,
again,
I think
we need a
maybe
constitution to be clear on that. November, in an election year, maybe January, you don't in an election year you don't do any other thing
the
again.
transition thing during, I think, on December 17th or so, gave out a letter, and their letter was specifying that if there's going to be such recruitment and co, it should be something known to both sides.
Gentleman agreement.
No, not gentleman. Something known to both sides, and then they go into the merit of the need of taking on those people. It wasn't done, and then you remember the chief of staff requesting that, hey, I want all information on those who were recruited prior to this period and all of it. So I'm sure they've looked at all of that and realized that no, there were some mishappenings. I sorry, we can't bring personal issues out, but I have a friend who is in a dilemma as at now. There are some people who were just holding on exam aptitude test in the CR level, and we're just holding. And anytime I ask Charlie, how far with the process? They say they're waiting. So they want to see what the government.
The frustration,
the frustration. So it's not something we should be happy about. And I think moving on, when the corrections are done, the reforms are made, we should have these things good and nice.
Let me go straight to the daily. Okay, on the same page, Daily Graphic. General Secretary of NAT is proposing something. NAT demands action on SHS discipline. So the issue of discipline is still here. Then let me quickly rush to the Informer. The issue of corruption. Ghana drops again. The score is what? 42? 42 now, yes. So the fight for corruption is not there. It's not coming up. Then oral report. Recover loot with interest. Level proposes. So they have to take off all those
value for money.
Then Furiata is in the news. So just read Ken Furiata's residence on Mahama's orders.
That's the paper.
This is how the National Voice reported it.
But some places they say they are known persons.
But on Muhammad's orders for what?
For what? To raid his house for what?
His house. I don't know what exactly.
What are they looking for?
What Muhammad will be looking for in his house.
I wouldn't want us to give it too much importance.
Sure, because from another source, they said these people are known.
Then there are processes. If Ken Oforiatta has anything that needs to be investigated, I'm not sure President will say.
Just order, security men to go and raid somebody's house like that.
By Jokbo.
Any job boy,
To me, if I carry $1, they won't move up. But
well, some individuals also suffer that. In the S1 administration, some individuals even suffer that. People coming into their homes to search their house, their computers, their blah blah blah, and all of those things, seizing their passports. Jordan Mojis, yeah.
Mega joke. Then the Daily Ghanaian Guide. Daily Ghanaian Guide says President Mahama 30 days in office, resetting national agenda in motion. Then the issue of cholera is still here. So the Daily Satellite also reported it. Cholera is still on rampage. Central Region West hit. I pay me a work at Chimelo, so you want them.
Yeah, even lucky. You're very much lucky. Bet you know the Donamio but we have water.
Yes, anyway. Then Republic Press. Republic Press report that government acts as Kufado's recruits as chief of staff cleans the public service. Then Senate boss, the news of the day. Senate box and
also been
the three other
all
deputies are all going home. So Osafoma for son.
So what were they doing that they did not resign themselves?
The former DC of Adakulu is also affected.
Yes, the lady.
Yes. It's also something Pedekbo.
But all of this is expected.
Yeah, so you should have even resigned yourself.
Yeah, all of this is expected. I'm not sure anybody will have the delusion of Mahama behaving like Atamils then asking people to stay on.
No, it will not happen.
With what we've suffered in
some of the
recent past.
The electorate will not even, supporters of the party will not even agree.
No, and I'm not sure that decision should be based on the supporters of the party, but for administrative purposes and resetting with what we've had in the immediate past, I am not sure.
They have to for Senate, I'm for it. When I call her that tiny,
but the CEOs are all political appointees.
That guy was brought in just to come and sell, come and sell properties. So,
but he did not succeed.
Because you have a fever saying.
Well, but I think we just have to, like, the reforms should come for us to actually see what it is. But this is where we are. For you to, there was one person when I learned he was leaving, I felt bad. Perhaps maybe I don't know the details of exactly what, but I felt bad when Nana Kumia was leaving STC.
Okay.
Yeah, in my opinion.
Yes.
In my opinion, I think he did well.
He did well.
And all of that.
Could have been
even
maintained.
Though there are issues. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That I am not privy to all the issues, but I think he has done well. Whoever is taking over from Nana
if we put a performance,
yes, from where STC was before Nana Kumia took over. Let's be frank to ourselves. There have been some improvements. It needs to keep getting better. So we only pray that whoever is taking up from Nana Kumia should also enhance on the service delivery of the of STC for us to have it more better, and it'll be good to go.
All right, so let's move on. We have a lot to share.
Okay, so quickly let me still run through the Republic Press. Say Maxwell Boachi makes history as the youngest Council of State member at 32. Then there is a citizen is saying something. Ghana needs a rebirth to address critical issues that face us now as a nation and as a people. So seriously, it's true. Ghana need a rebirth from all these political. Then Daily Analyst still also report almost the same. The issue of Council of State and the recruitment,
all right, so those are the major issues captured by the papers. All right, so Gijo, good morning. I had taken this habit of reporting water leakages for many years. The guys I was using are now transferred to other districts, so I have stopped. But it looks like Ghana Water Company Limited workers are only interested in being in office and taking cash or taking salary. Many things are wrong out there, including water theft, but they won't do anything about it. The worst for us, or the worst as for them, is to come and complain. Okay, so I think the last part of the message is not clear, ma. And we have here, as long as the president's term is still active, he has the constitutional authority to employ people. In any serious country, if someone has been officially given an employment letter and is later dismissed unfairly, they have the right to challenge it in court. The Constitution grants the president the power to make appointments, and there is no specific rule that restricts when he can do so. No one is more Ghanaian than another, and until the president hands over power, he retains the right to carry out his duties, including hiring. How about firing? Okay, so good morning. Please, our tap is still not flowing. Those of us around health insurance office, not even a drop. Adam, well noted. Hima, well noted. And then Selassie also well noted. All right. Thanks for your messages and drawing our attention to some of the issues. So that's one contributing to the fact that as far as the president is still in office, you
Yes.
can go on to appoint and
That so when I also read the question,
to-
I was
to-
I was allowed. So okay, so his tenure of office doesn't end, but just like how Chris is trying to explain, that 3 months to
There are terms for the transition process, and it must be adhered to. There are terms for it, and I think it's the procedures and all of that. Trust me, for between December 7th till now, the process is to be exhausted. All right, in doing the rightful employment into these sectors is what the chief of staff definitely would look at, and if there is merit, it would be upheld. If not, so see these decisions, as much as we want to make it political and want to look at it as tit for tat and whatsoever
by all means,
these are
yeah.
procedural and structural things that we need to look at and be frank to ourselves that hey, you are the president, but X, Y, Z you shouldn't do. It's like saying that we are okay for the president to defer the Ghana the gas pipeline issue onto another person and all of that.
All right, that's okay. And let's do this. What's the Constitution say about the Constitution? That is our Council of State, blah blah blah. But before we do that, some reports here on the City Newsroom, where Chief of Staff revokes all public service appointments after December 7. So all the appointments done after December 7 is what they are taking care of. So after December 7, election is done. 8th December, 9th December, 11th December. What business do you still have hiring people? All right, so let's see. Health Minister summons to Parliament over cholera. He brought us that. The SNIT shake-up. And then this news, Mahama inaugurates 90-member task force for 120-day contract with Ghanaians. Then the 156 million USA funding gap, where we getting the money
that
from.
tax force are they not late?
What are they supposed to do?
That's it. So they have, because they have already done 30 days, leaving one.
What is the tax force supposed to do?
So the task force,
leaving 90 days.
They are going to fulfilling his 120-day social contract with the Ghanaian people. The task force will oversee the implementation of the new promises made by President Mahama as outlined in the 26-page contract. Okay, so indeed, the task force is late.
Very, very late.
Because we want
The
120 days there.
The task force is to oversee oversee the
implementation of the promises made by the president
So-
as outlined in the 26-page
this-
contract.
Yeah, so this is it. President, you made a promise. This is your golden promise. You just get everybody on board so that we do the
Everybody has a
this thing.
who.
Yes.
I'm still laughing though.
Why are you still laughing?
Hey, Ghana. The task force is to oversee the implementation of the president's promises.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 120.
All right.
Okay. So you guys are not comfortable with the tax
Oh! How can we not be comfortable with what the president is doing?
Okay.
No,
so
but I think that you see, the monitoring and evaluation of all of these activities are important. So, if there are a specific group of people mandated to oversee the monitoring and the implementation, no problem at all.
So to make
we
sure
are-
that
the things are done and are done the
implementation,
right
yeah,
way.
I'm sure that
That's
is
all.
why they are
I
being
just
formed.
fear that it shouldn't become a duplication of role, right? Because you see now we have a minister in charge of special initiatives.
Let's cross over to the phone lines, then we come back to you and also look at the things they are going to oversee this implementation. You know, the taxes are all there. In the first 120 days, we're supposed to see the scrubbing of the obnoxious taxes, the draconian taxes, whatever adjective you want to use to describe them. All right, so we have been joined the special aide of the regional minister, who is also the regional deputy communications director of the NDC, Mr. Delali Bright Kuwajo, to throw some light. You know, during the campaign, he has been here telling us more about the social contract, 14 days, 120 days, 90 days, and blah, 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 the social contract with the Ghanaian people. So he wants to throw more light on the task force being formed by the president to oversee the implementation of the promises made during the campaign period. Good morning, Mr. Bright. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Jijo, and thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, I hope you are doing well.
I'm fine, and you?
I'm also fine. Thanks for asking.
Tell Priscus that he must look for me small. I missed him.
Okay, he will. Okay,
Yeah.
so kindly throw some light on the task force, the 19-member task force. Some believe if it's not going to be a duplication of work, and why do we still need any members to, see to the implementation of the promises you have made to Ghanaian people, to the Ghanaian people?
Thank you very much for the opportunity once again. I think that if you read the entire story, your perspective will be different because it's self-explanatory. Most of the promises that we made in respect of the 120 days in office under various ministries. I give you an example about the economic forum that we proposed to organize to bring stakeholders on board to discuss the Ghanaian economy. That can be done with the Ministry of Finance. You get the point.
Yeah.
So it's just now, if you realize, we've now sworn in all the sector ministers.
Yeah.
So the sector minister must be part of this committee, because now that we are done with the inauguration of all the sector ministers or swearing in of all the sector ministers, so this is the time that we are to put them all together. So if you look at the membership, you realize that most of the sector ministers are in the committee. So they are there to focus on specific promise that falls under their ministry and make sure that we achieve the promise. We don't want even one to fall out of the promise that we made, because it's specific, it's in our manifesto, black and white. So the target is that whatever that falls under your ministry, for example, the Ministry of Education, we promise that we will set up a committee to review the free SHS policy by experts. So that must be driven by the minister responsible for education, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, in that committee. So he's in that committee. So that is the idea of the committee.
Okay.
You realize that it's not a committee that, they brought about people outside the current government, but they are members of the government that has been put together to make sure that we achieve every single one of the promise that we made in that in the manifesto.
So every sector minister is overseeing the promise that falls under them, making sure that it's implemented well.
Exactly.
Okay.
With the help of other ministry, some of these things, they are intertwined. They overlap into some of the promises. You need two or more ministries to come together for it to be achieved.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
We are grateful for offering us this clarification on the set topic we've been discussing right here. So you heard from Mr. Delale Bright Kugbajo, the Deputy Communications NDC Regional, and we have also been the special aide to the regional minister. So Priscus, I hope it's clearer now.
No, so like I said earlier, see, after me laughing and all, I made it clear that the importance of having people who would pay much attention to what is being done and ensure that it is carried out to the letter is what we need now. So yes, setting the committee is fine. I am only, like I said also, I'm only hoping that we don't have to, it shouldn't get to the conflict of role thing. It's functionalism. One person, like the Albright said, would overlap. So there shouldn't be conflict, but rather synergy and collaboration to ensure that the things are being done. If you're reviewing the free senior high school thing, it would it would cut across education to the finance ministry and all of that. So 24-hour economy would cut across trades, would do finance, and a couple of them. So yes, this functionalism would come to play, and it's fine to bring all of them together, but let's ensure that beyond the committee, the works are being done for the people of Ghana to be. And I'm very confident in having these things done. With what we've seen in 30 days, trust me, 60 days will be super.
60 days will be super.
I tell you.
All right. The task force is completely unnecessary. There is already a clear structure in place. Ministers, members of parliament, and MMDC is. So creating another body is simply a duplication of roles and a way to reward loyalties. If the ministers cannot effectively implement the government manifesto promises, then they shouldn't be in those positions. This is starting to feel like business as usual.
To some extent, I disagree with the texter. Why rewarding
loyalties? Because, okay, let's get the names of the members of the task force. We have Dr. Kesel Atoforsen, Minister for Finance, John Jinapo, Energy, Elizabeth Ofosu Ajari, Trades, Agriculture, Agribusiness and Industry, Dominic Ayine, Attorney General, Haruna Idrisu, Minister for Education, Jifago Mashi, Tourism, Jojo Pariado, Youth Development, Agnes Na Momo Latte, Minister Designate for Gender, Governor Minta Akando for Health, Rashid Pelpo, Minister for Employment, Emmanuel Amakofibua, Lands and Mineral Resources, Samuel Nate George, Communications, Muntala Mohammed for Environment, Gozitanon, Presidential Advisor on 24-Hour Economy, Prosper Bani, National Security Advisor, Kofi Buachi, Director of Operations, Francis Dodu, Presidential Advisor, Joyce Bar Montari, Presidential Advisor on Special Aid to the President. So those are some of the names there of the high-profile people.
So look at the names.
Dr. Valerie Sawyer, the Senior Presidential Advisor, is also in there.
So
these are all cabinet ministers.
Phone call is that who are the loyalists there? Are they not Minister of State?
Yeah, so if it's about rewarding loyalty, these are people who are already having their positions,
Yes.
right? So I'm not sure it's about rewarding loyalty. But I say we cannot take the aspects and the views of like the texter for granted that what he feels these people already have sector ministers who should by themselves have these initiatives under their sectors as their KPIs to say we want to see it done. So there wasn't any need to have them as task force. But like I said, trust me, some of these things will lapse. So the functionalism that is required, they should all come together. I'm not sure they'll be drawing any stipend or salary because of being this task force to do this. I'm sure it's just to help and aid that they are actually focusing on these particular ones that needs to be done. See, after 120 days,
so it means they want to make sure that the promises are implemented.
After 120 days, we'll all be here and we would evaluate the John Mahama administration after 120 days. We've done the 30 days, right? Unconsciously, we are all marking. Unconsciously, we are all marking to say yes. We are all doing so. After the 120 days, we will see. And I'm not sure.
The fact that time frames are also attached to some of these things makes it easier.
We don't have it. There are people asking when the E-levy would leave already. Yes.
In 120 days.
There are people asking. And someone gave a nice answer that, hey, the government has not even presented its budget and all that. So hold on. In the 120 days, we've not had the SONA yet, right?
Yeah.
We still have time. All of these things should be addressed. Have confidence in John Mahama.
All right. So you're also drawing our attention to the fact that at Avati Dome area, that's NHIS.
Going to redeem from NHIS.
Okay, so water hasn't been flowing. So, okay. Wow, that's another challenge there. So let us know from you. We might want to hear on those ones. So the text messages will do. 0203 766 500. Let's take please let us know so we can channel it to ameyo wakponya ameyo le valve tutu pele pupu gbokpo na wa avu mi ache mi atona mi bechi na wa do na mi oje ameyo le jode pipeline.
But I've seen that you guys are visiting the Clever Headworks a lot of times. Have you paid any attention to in quote, forgive me, I've been born.
017.
No, on the forestry, going to the forestry. I think district office. Water restore facility there for me. Me check,
Yeah.
but reservoir I don't know. See
That
for me.
is whole 17, whole 18,
Me check film because for me no for me chan ma de kwai for me ne to emoke he for water syringe.
Yeah.
I straight. Elle for me introduce no for me le nyepe me no be afro level no for me. For me be ka be ho gale. Me ya be reservoir he left me gale don maybe whilst me left me that point.
There'll be another talk by the regional minister to the district.
Fike gbolo le nche menya e po fi mo la o to valve yo me so be valve we to fuma to no ta no no vole fuma we ta na ba me do le fi mi kun ake I'm sure those places to make like do out a hold or show gbachi gbeme.
So maybe
okay, so they'll write if you are listening, maybe you can just draw the attention of the regional minister on this one. What the concern of Frisco's is. Le bimbo le mewechi.
I think it was a reservoir.
Whole 17, whole 18, whole 19. Only the whole if you see me yona na we giving.
Tachi no do do.
Like I be reservoir clean out the kum echi.
Okay, so
ape ba water toto hele kele to ta me le fimi. Fimi kun tank ele. Echi ke pete eva ogbo me fimi ole. No ta no lu e to peve o food o kagala wa for the top ele fimi. Apo amanami.
Okay. Thank you guys for being with us. APA will soon join. Thanks to all our listeners, those sending us messages. We appreciate that a lot. And you can continue sending your messages, letting us know the areas are still being affected. You can make 0203 766 500. Hado Bedasi do Damila Kwama. Ne Mia Hodomechochokwe video la fi achasi video ado jekpakpele EPA. Do wofa minotoji nami. Minutes on 8, and we have the reps from the Environmental Protection Authority. Yes, agency. We used to the agency.
It will take a minute.
Yes, it take a minute for us to adjust authority agency, so they are here. Guests from EP are with us this morning. Last week we were here, and we said we'll be back again. To continue educating us about the environment. So we are here this morning for exactly that. Before I introduce my guests to you, remember that Solaria iMed and Optical Suppliers, they provide services such as the comprehensive eye examination and treatment of eye conditions, dispensing of spectacles and contact lenses, corporate screening and outreach services, visual field examination, that's for glaucoma diagnosis, and auto refraction, that is the keratometry. In stock, they have quality spectacle frames for men, women, and children, ophthalmic lenses, the photochromic lenses, and blue lenses. They have sunshades, contact lenses, and lens solutions. They are accredited. That is the DVLA Testing Center. If you want to acquire your new license as a driver or renew your existing one, you can visit Salaria iMed and Optical Suppliers. They are at the ground floor of Max International Building, 4 meters from the NHIS regional office, and locates them in Accra inside at Malikim Hospital behind Zoom Lion headquarters, West Jasako, and at Denu Junction, first floor of Ayivon Story Building. They are open Monday to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., and on holidays, they still operate 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. They accept insurances such as the Acacia Health Insurance, Metropolitan Health Insurance, Apex Health Insurance, Nationwide Health Insurance, Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, Ghana Association of Bankers Health Insurance, Glyco Healthcare, Equity Health Insurance. Call 0544 927 175. 0544 927 175. We have Cosmos, Dagbe, and then we have Henry. No. Yes. Okay. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are we doing?
Very well, by His grace.
Doing great.
Okay. How is EPA doing this morning?
EPA is doing well, and
Okay.
we have extended greetings from our regional director to
Are you sure?
and our cherished listeners.
Are you sure?
So I can show you the
Okay.
text message.
That's fine. We have a topic to be discussed this morning, and this will take us through the weeks ahead of us. We'll be looking at climate change, that being the major topic, and focusing on the greenhouse effects, the ozone layer depletion, global warming. This one here is still with us. Everyone is experiencing it every now and then. Then climate change mitigation. We'll also be looking at the climate adaptation. So when we are talking about climate change, those things, we'll look at it. So have an understanding of this whole thing called climate change, Cosmos.
Yes. So, last year we had a period where we discussed climate change on air. We tried to explain a few things about the changing of climate, weather, and all that last year. We will continue this year. We also mentioned last week when we were discussing our new act, how much of climate change has been incorporated into our new act and making the authority leading role in climate change and its related activities, responses in the country. So as part of that, we decided to commence this year's education after the introduction of the law, obviously, with climate change and educate our listeners and the general public on climate change issues. So just first, we'd like to start with the climate system. We would first want everyone to understand what the climate system is, then we can further go ahead to understand what climate change itself will be. So in the climate system, we can talk about weather, and we can talk about climate. I'll quickly discuss what weather is, then my colleague will continue. So weather is just a short-term atmospheric condition, where we have a specific time, specific place, including temperature. It includes humidity, cloud cover, precipitation, wind, etc. So that is weather. So you can say this morning the weather is warm, or this morning we have the weather is not warm. So that is a specific time in a short period. We are talking about just this morning. So that is what weather is.
Okay.
So when we talk about climate change, it is the long-term change in temperature. So basically, when we talk about the weather as a short term, when we talk about climate change, it's a long term. It takes a very, very long time, 50 to 100 years. Then we will see the effect. So it's basically the change in temperature, normally to a warmer condition, not to a cooler one.
Okay.
So climate change basically is the change in the temperature over a long period of time.
Okay.
So the difference between climate and weather is simply the period of time that is considered. As I mentioned earlier, weather is just for a short period, a defined period, a small period, and then time. But when you talk about climate, you are talking about a longer period of recorded data, which shows change in the components that I mentioned, including temperature, humidity, wind, and etc.
Okay.
Yes. So we also talk about global warming, greenhouse gases, and it's as if we mention this a lot, yet we don't have a lot of understanding into what these greenhouse gases are. So over the weeks, we'll be taking this topic seriously, and we'll discuss this into details so as to educate the general public and raise awareness on climate change issues. So at the event where we get to mitigation and adaptation area, where we all have our roles to play, we would understand it perfectly and put in our efforts just to work on that.
All right. So with the climate change, that's what we are focusing on, right?
Yes.
So what has resulted into the change in the temperature for the long period we are talking about, which is making the difference between the weather and then the climate change?
Okay. So basically, the main cause of climate change is human activities.
Okay.
So with time, human population is increasing.
Yes.
With time, human demands are increasing. So ideally, if you have three people, let's say, wanting to fend for themselves, they wouldn't have to fend for people, or they wouldn't fend for food to be consumed by 100 people. So once the population increases, the physical demands also increases.
All right.
Basically, the burning of fossil fuel for energy production, for human provision, is what causes climate change. So the introduction of the CO2, the gases, they are called greenhouse gases, into the atmosphere is what brings about climate change.
Okay.
So the human activities causes greenhouse gases to increase in the atmosphere, and thereby causing climate
So
change.
these human activities, what are the exact human activities we are talking about here?
Okay, so even with cultivation, agric activities, the cultivation of certain plants introduces methane gas, which is also part of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. So if you have two people, let's say, growing rice, you wouldn't have to grow rice for many people, like I said.
Okay.
So you have to grow just for those two people. The
But if there are a
methane
lot,
introduction into the atmosphere will be less. So if you have many people, the gases will just increase. So you have the burning of the fossil fuel. Our vehicles use fuel. These the outcome, so the exhaust, the fumes that comes out, normally are the CO2s introduced into the atmosphere, and this can facilitate or increase the climate change that we're talking about.
Okay.
So, the atmosphere already contains some form of gases. So when we talk about the greenhouse gases that my colleague has been mentioning, these are gases that sort of form a cloud in the atmosphere, which traps heat. When the ultraviolet rays of the UV rays of the sun hits the Earth's surface, it's supposed to go back into space. But these gases we are talking about, the greenhouse gases, what they do is they form an insulation in the atmosphere that trap this heat and then send it back to the surface. So thereby increasing the temperature of the Earth's surface. That is where we are having the greenhouse gas effect. Some of these gases basically include carbon dioxide. We have the methane my colleague mentioned, and then we have the chlorofluorocarbons, and then other gases that form part of these greenhouse gases.
So the more these gases are released, the more it affects.
Its concentration in the atmosphere, the more it is going higher, the more we are experiencing temperature rise. Yes.
Okay, that's okay. So would want to now know how these things are affecting our lives, the environment we find ourselves in, if only they are negatively affecting us, or also positively contributing to some other things.
Okay, so the first effect of climate change is the rise in temperature. You could bear with me that in recent times, the temperature of even Ho is quite high as compared to the other regions. With Accra, the least said about it, the better, because they don't have the plants to just trap these gases. So the rise in temperature is one. The rise in sea level. If you look at the Keta enclave, those who live close to the shoreline, they have their settlement being disrupted by these high level of the sea. So you either they have to relocate, or we try and build a sea defense for them. These are effects. Once the sea level rises, anybody staying close to the shoreline will be affected.
Okay.
It's also affecting our activities. Let's say farmers. You know, back in the days, our grandfathers could predict rain patterns. And now it is very unpredictable. So you have increased seasons of drought, then you have increased seasons of rainfall. It's become so unpredictable that farmers are struggling to maintain a sustainable activity when it has to do with rain-fed agriculture. Yes, so economically it is also affecting us, and then our social lives too.
Okay. So, if I want to ask you any question, I would have to do with the other ones. Maybe you want to keep for the rest of the weeks, but since it's an education, we can still go, go over and over again for people to have the understanding that we want them to have after the education or the awareness. So we're still on the climate change and all other things that falls under it. We looked at the causes, what it is, the causes, and how largely it is affecting us. Are there some immediate steps we could be looking at as people, as a country, a community, dealing with this, or it has come to stay? We can't do anything about it, the climate change that we're talking about here.
So Ghana is part of the climate treaties that have been signed, and in this we are looking at long-term activities that can be done by these partner nations to combat the effects of climate change. That's so doing, we would also be putting in measures to see if we can control how much greenhouse gases we put into the atmosphere. This is why the EPA has been advocating that when we are getting new gadgets, we should get the 5-star rated ones. Maybe our air conditioners and our fridges, they have less of the gases that go into the atmosphere as greenhouse gases. So yes, there are things that will be discussed further in the mitigation and adaptation. When we get there, we will explain further what we can also do to combat the effects of climate change. But how to stop it now, we think it has come, and it is with us. So let's look at how we can live with it and adapt to it. Then how we can prevent it from further increasing, so as to not put a lot of burden on the future generations. EPA is always talking about sustainable sustainable environment. That means in tomorrow, when we are not here, those here should have been proud of what we have done today that has given them an environment that they can thrive in and be excited about.
Okay. You have anything to add there, Harry?
Okay, so I would like to see that climate change is real. There is a school of thought or some data or propaganda, let me put it that way, that says that climate change isn't happening, isn't out there. I would like to see emphatically that there is enough data that shows that climate change is real and is happening now. So the earlier we start to think along its solution and mitigation, the better for the next generation.
All right. So is the causes we've stated earlier also the causes that result into the depletion of the ozone layer?
To some extent, depletion of ozone layer is a different topic that we can discuss.
Yeah, just want to know if.
So the greenhouse gas effect and the depletion of the ozone layer are two different phenomena. Yes, they are not the same phenomenon. Yes,
that's
the depletion of the ozone layer is what allows so much UV to come to the Earth's surface in the first place. Because what happens is in God's own wisdom, He has created a blanket that traps some of the UV from the sun coming to the Earth's surface. But now we have done things that have punched holes into that blanket. That is the depletion of the ozone layer. So those blankets that are supposed to protect the sun's direct rays from hitting the earth has holes in them. So now the amount of UV coming from the sun too is more. And then the greenhouse gases that we have generated that have gone into the atmosphere are creating an insulation, like a blanket too. So now, instead of the UVs that come to the Earth to go back into space, they are trapping it and making the Earth's atmosphere hotter. So that is the two separate phenomena that is going on. But we can say they both work hand in hand in this climate change phenomenon, because now we have more UVs coming in, and then the greenhouse gases are trapping more of the heat trying to leave too. So they are both in climate change phenomenon, but they are separate issues.
Okay.
Ozone layer depletion is separate, and then the greenhouse gas effect is separate.
All right. So it's same with that's the global warming. There are also two different things here.
So yes, we can also describe global warming as warming of the Earth's surface, right?
Okay.
That's what basically we say global warming.
Global warming talks only about the temperature.
So the climate, okay, just
global warming talks only about the temperature, the high rise in temperature. If you compare it to climate change talks about the temperature and the high level of sea, the
rise in the sea level.
The rise in the sea level,
precipitation, humidity.
So you have other factors in there, but global warming only talks about the high level in temperature.
Okay. All right. So we looked at some of the effects. I think I didn't hear much on the positive effects, because at least we could be bringing us some good things. Don't they?
Okay. Anything that is done in moderation will have. So when we don't have these things, the Earth will, when we don't have these gases, or we don't have these gases trapping heat around us, the Earth's surface will be too cold for us, and it won't support human existence. But then our activities has increased the concentration.
All right.
So for now, we can say it's only has a negative effect.
So should we stop rice farming?
Should
we reduce?
No. Actually, okay. So we have some animals, the excreta, having some gases.
Like the cow.
We can't say that we'll stop. We'll all be vegetarians. we can't.
You know, rearing of the cow. Is it the rearing of the cow or the excreta or the meat?
Is their excreta. So their waste.
Okay.
Is what is introducing these gases into the atmosphere.
You know, just data has it that about 99% of the total greenhouse gases come from carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. And when you think about the sources of these three gases, they are mainly anthropogenic human activities. You know, when we've cut down trees too, for instance, for our development and all that, these trees are carbon sinks, stores. They store carbon dioxide. So when we cut them down, we are releasing all those that they've stored over the years back into the atmosphere. And then he spoke about farming practices to that release methane. Most farming practices release methane into that. Then we have the nitrous oxide, our air conditions, our fridges. So you realize that 99% of the gases that go into the atmosphere are being produced by human activities. So we are in a bid to destroy the climate if we don't accept climate change and then try to mitigate some of these things and move to a greener economy where we can actually adapt proper farming methods, use more friendly electronic gadgets and cooling agents, and then practice better farming, world accepted farming practices, the best practices, so as to reduce these gases in the atmosphere.
That's fine.
In our own small, the indiscriminate burning in and around the whole enclave is bad. You see someone.
How bad was it during the Hamatan season? We were somewhere
the
it wasn't looking that, but in January, that's where
all of a sudden it's skyrocketed. I think last year was good. Last year there was less burning, but this year, this last Hamatan season was quite. Saw less burning around the mountains. But this time around, I don't know what happened. January, then
January
all of a sudden people started burning.
It seems everybody became selfish. We can be selfish, but immediately we become greedy. The earth will suffer.
The environment suffers.
We should actually discourage burning. So, cause for you to look
burning
for
of anything at all,
anything for your selfish interest to look for.
So the firewood that we use,
I think gas is not that expensive, if you look at it long term. Even the health risk that you pose to yourself burning firewood is you can't quantify it. It's quite bad. Let's minimize our activities.
That's fine. Let's minimize our activities. Gas is not quite expensive. Let's stop being selfish to the environment. Okay. They say if you keep destroying it, the creator will come after you one day. So let's stop destroying the environment. That's Professor Barton's voice for you. All right. So you heard from our guest, the Mr. Wise Cosmos Dagbe and Harry Nunu. They were here. They've been here teaching us on climate change. We'll continue next week with another topic until. Thank you, gentlemen. If you have anything lastly you want to share with our listeners, please do.
So we at the EPA always encourage that the role or the actual protecting of the environment is done on the grounds and is done with the people. So protecting the environment and then encouraging or actually having a sustainable environment is a collective responsibility. What you give out is what you receive. So let's do our best and try to minimize our activities that are detrimental to the environment. Burning is not really good. Data has shown that it has affected the data that we are using to support the Oxygen City project. And with that, we are going to lose the name if we are not careful. So we should reduce burning and try to use the waste management companies that are available so we can properly dispose of our waste.
All right.
Okay. To conclude, I will say that let's start segregating our waste. It will give us less waste to dispose. and this will go a long way to help us. Climate change is real and it's happening now. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Wish you all the best.
This is because of illegal mining and cocoa production declining. The
Announcement we talk of having been joined in studio by the Council of State member-elect, the Volta region representative, joining us for some conversation. Unfortunately, he has been caught up with in a meeting that would not permit him to be able to make it to the studio this morning. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience caused, and it's been rescheduled at the right time when we have gotten when that's the time, the day to have him join us. We will announce that due date. So to our listeners, me Dr. Flache, be Council of State member, Ikepa call that show. I may ye Apeto Gabriel Tanko Kwame Gan Hatokule be wa no mia do me egba hafi gake egba nkeki aga tro bubuye be takwepe de ka vedo over gere mo mene ike ewebe maten anno mia do ma kemi gbole nkeki a odampo eyi aga so de jine kwa mia anaduko wanya heye gbe yo kata mia holenu a wa ado mia gbo tami edo ta flache de emata mia yi de mia pe Nigeria akpagban mamleto ikenye opinion segment ado mi agbola bakpagban to ya pleva ton however you ho ye madon kwejina be Ghana gross wana na so help tutudu egale ji kokoko tanenye so he ike edi be ya nye go mekpola le Ghana gross stop wana ike Mastercard Foundation la si asime kwa Spring Road Show Foundation kule Limehouse so deto me tarujina kwenye bewa akpere so hewo wunti bewa chewa zuwodo kiwoto dowodri anosi watu wanzu yonto fe do lawa gugwaga kwa modo fe do meta fe wi aton fe blaton bo aton do me mokata kwa monu popo hele now wana o adaun dodo ona pepere wona hehe le atikpakpa o asinu do wo nu yokata ihe agbledede pele agbledede pasi cheche kwa wa akpede enu Atonwa for *718*50# eye agede waname eye ofe agbea wa atro eye de me and now Ghana Grows embrace Greek and AT Vet careers with Ghana Grows today. There's an initiative of Mastercard Foundation partnership with Springboard Road Show Foundation and Limehouse. For more information, call 0308 255-775 0308-255-775. Ghana Grows Hope Day. And we have Pizza Man, Chicken Man, where you show love to Miape Loloto whenever you visit. As far as we are in the month of love, the packages all over. You can call at the So visit any of our branches across the country and taste the love in our variety of meals. You can also access this love by downloading the Chris B app to place all your orders whilst tracking your order in real time. It's a quick and very easy to deal with. That's the app we're talking about there. Now remember you le hoa me akpo Pizza Man Chicken Man le CK Road Junction by Pole Trafalgar Moto Doji. Then I can get a flower whole shelf filling station and do vovo la de whole see I get a oji a low download Chris B app ke ako place wo pe order fi se afi ke ne le kwa wa kon do afa now nu ke ganyo lo wonye be e ke nya place order for kwa won to atan no ofe ayome team ikevia akpofi ike wodo ne me hefo kwa dungo jebe it's no food no payment no do do kwa melefetu aloma hefere kereta yo 0302 753 430 0302 753 430. It's love at first bite. Me penya slow migale me pe Jessie nye 0203766500. Ile nkulem ne me pe echinya onti fi yo chi omele do domolewa. Me a ase cho me agbo heye kude mita penya onti ha. No ha negede kuhima mea na me a anye cho agbo leke mita penya kole fu dem na lo echi penya kole efu dem na woe. All right, so me penya sala me ho afeto William Tenu de do pame ike mi akọ aje mi afe eje dodo ogom wana ji mana si echa to ha wana ji mana si echa to eha. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
How's it?
I'm doing well, by grace.
Good to hear.
Very well. Again, let me take the opportunity to greet our listeners and Movement for Change members in Volta region and Ghana. And a very good morning to Honorable Alan Kojo Charamartin, the leader and founder of Movement for Change. I want to also extend a greeting from him to the people of Volta region in Ghana. And he's saying that Ghanaians should be in expectation, a very high expectation of him coming back 2028 to take up the reins of power as the president. So basically that is what the man asked that I tell the Voltarians and Ghanaians as a whole. Thank you.
Okay. We'll set the conversation as the ball rolling.
Sure.
And our first story been captured by all the papers today and the portals as well. Social media is also talking about it. That's the Chief of Staff revoking all public service appointments are made after December 7. The Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, has revoked all appointments and recruitments made into the public service after December 7 last year. A confidential letter has been circulated to all heads of government institutions instructing them to comply with the directive. The decision is expected to affect individuals who were appointed or recruited into various public sector roles after the 2024 general elections. While the specific reasons for the revocation have not been detailed, sources suggest it forms part of the government's efforts to ensure fairness and transparency in the public sector transition process. All right, so let me get a full letter. Consistent with government pronouncements in relation to near end of tenure appointments and recruitment, I wish to bring to your attention that all appointments and recruitments made in the public services of Ghana after 7th December 2024 are not in compliance with established good governance practices and principles. Accordingly, all heads of government institutions are hereby requested to take the necessary steps to annul any such appointments or recruitments and submit a comprehensive report on the actions taken to this office by 17th February 2025. Your cooperation in this matter is highly appreciated. So this is where we find ourselves. But before you touch on it, we have a Council of State member-elect for the Volta region. You have a message for him?
Yeah. First, let me congratulate him.
Okay.
He's someone, I don't know him personally, but looking at his age, I'm just happy about his election. We need the youth to occupy sensitive positions in the country so that they will begin to direct their policies towards the youth. So I want to just tell him that he being a member of Council of State should not only be for him and his family or his friends. He should prioritize Voltarians and also not only his tribe. He should focus on everywhere in Volta region and ensure that any policy decision or any advice that they will give to the president concerning Volta region will affect everywhere in Volta region. So congratulations to him once again. And that is the only thing I have for him. He should focus on Volta.
All right.
Sure.
We also have joining Mr. Maule Hoto Wogbeyi is representing the NDC. Good morning.
Good morning, Jijo.
Can you kindly raise your microphone a bit?
I hope you are doing well.
By grace.
Obviously seen on you.
How do you mean? We have a lot of people smiling, looking good in dresses, but are not okay.
Well, unless you say so. But what my eye sees optically shows that you are, the change of government, the psychological, settlement, the reset is showing up all over you. You are looking well. My brother, the cousin of our opponent, William, is also looking very good.
Sure.
This is what happens when you have, the country in safe hands. So everybody psychologically settled in his mind. You are at peace. Things will go well. So all of us are having a peace, what we call peace of mind right now. Now, so good morning to our listeners. Quickly, let me just touch on the Council of State election yesterday.
Do you want to do that? Hold on.
He took his bite. Let me also just quickly, before we enter into the stories.
Okay.
Our brother, he's a young man.
Sure.
Now we can call him Honorable. Honorable Gabriel.
Person after surname.
Komiga Atople. Popularly called Tanko.
Sure.
So he's a young man from Ketunov, I think better. I met him a couple of times, but I wouldn't say I have a relationship with him.
Okay.
But from what I know about him, a very assertive young man, a goal-getter. He's a strong-minded person. Over the years, we have elected elderly people, people with gray hair, onto the Council of State.
Sure. You have chiefs, retirees.
Chiefs, very old people. And we were under the impression that the age comes with wisdom, and so they qualify to advise the president. But, the elsewhere president, we haven't seen that any good advice has been given to the former president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So that defeats the purpose that elderly people can give good advice to presidents. And so now it's a time for young people to also, represent the voices of the youth on the Council of State.
Sure.
Let's see how the outcome will be for young people. Now that we have a person we can also relate to on the Council of State. I hear in the Western region, 32-year president has also won the bid. So we're looking at the dynamics. Let's see how this ignore to youth front in governance of this country.
All right. So now to our story.
Okay. So I want to begin by saying that karma works very well, and if you are in life, every human being must live a very good life.
What do you mean by
thinking about the future? Okay, because if you behave or if you do things without thinking into the future, it comes to haunt you back. Why am I saying this? 2017, there was a new government, 2017, and they revoked a lot of public sector workers, including I was even part of, even though I was not part of public sector workers, but then I applied for a grant under John Mahama. They canceled the program, which affected majority of us. They brought in a new organization called NIP. NIP didn't continue, and some of us, we couldn't get the funds. Today, the same thing is happening, and the NPP is crying all over social media. Majority of their social media managers are crying, and even some of their MPs. Yesterday, it was not favorable to NDC, but you went ahead with it. So today, I expect them to keep quiet on these things and not talk. They shouldn't talk. Look, if if Akufo-Addo meant well for the MPP grassroots or any Ghanaian that has been employed, he will not employ them after election. This employment should have been done before election. Why do you employ people after election? Why? When you know you are leaving. It's the people are saying that the employment does not follow due processes.
Yeah.
So
because that's a period for transition.
That is it. So revoke the appointment. Simple. This one we don't have.
It could be simple, but the psychological.
About who?
The individuals being affected.
Which individuals? The MPP individuals. Yes, see, some of us who were talking about these things, they tag us as NDC members. When we're in MPP, we were talking about these things. Look, the grassroots are our focus. Oh. Me as an individual, I don't care whatever I do. I am working for myself. I have been working for myself from 2014. I run my NGO. I do my farm, and I add my small business aside, my borehole business aside. So I am okay. I don't need any government work. I'm a graduate from EP University. I can apply and get the work and do. Because EP will give you UCC certificate. So I'm a graduate. I can work, but I have decided not to work for government, but to work for myself. So the point is that if we are saying that employ people, and for about 8 years, you are not employing. You are now leaving power. You went and employ people. Who will contain them? Now the people you have employed, if they are not paying them, you come back again and come and say that they are not paying. So for me, as an individual, even if I have a sister in this thing that has been sacked, I'm okay.
Why should you be okay?
I am happy because they didn't.
It's not fault of theirs.
They employ MPP members.
It's not fault.
They employed MPP members. That is the tag. 2016. The tag was what? 2016, 2017. The tag was what? Mahama employed NDC members. So let's revoke.
So they not say Ghanaians.
They did. Yes. So today it is same.
So should we always, should it be a thing of, whenever there's a change of government, any late appointment, any late recruitment should be revoked by the next or the new
so
administration?
the old administration or the outgoing administration should have thought it wise that within the election period, let's employ the people before even election. Let's employ them. The number that we have to employ, let's employ them. Start paying them before we leave. You don't employ them for somebody to come and pay. Are you getting it? Yes. It means that they have to come and mechanize these people into the system and start paying them.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm lying. That is it. So who will come and mechanize your people for you?
Because I understand people have gone through the process, just awaiting the final stage.
Sure, I just don't want to mention anybody's name here. Look, there was a party person that was employed at Koda as a driver. They refused to mechanize the person. They refused to mechanize. Now the guy has been agitating, and then they sack him. The person they employed at his place to replace him has been mechanized. You see and that guy has been a serial caller for MPP. So at times, our leaders, the way they think, I am saying that they should continue. The party, some of us are happy that the MPP is diminishing because of this attitude. And they will continue. The party will collapse. Akufo-Addo has done worse to this party than good. The day he decided to sideline people who have built the party from scratch and has gone to pick Bawumia, that was the end of the day for the party.
Right,
so now,
let's leave the
so now let me come back to the issue.
Yeah.
Nobody will mechanize your people for you. If you are an MPP member and you have been appointed and they are revoking the appointment.
When we are saying NPP,
whether they are Ghanaians,
these are Ghanaians that
they
have the right
they
of
are
association
NPP
to form
members.
and join associations.
And I'm telling you that the same thing happened 2017, and the tag was that John Mahama appointed NDC members into public sector.
Okay.
So today the same thing is happening. So what should be the tag? The tag will be that Akufo-Addo employed NPP members. Nobody will mechanize these people. They should all go home.
What would you suggest for us?
They should all go home
to
and
put a stop to it. Would you also suggest after December 7, no government? If you know you know outgoing results not being declared yet, you don't.
So you don't do it.
Recruit.
Yes, if you employ the people before election and start paying them, mechanize all of them into the system and start paying them, and this should be a lesson to those who they always employ after election. You should take a cue of this, that if they are employing you after election, something like this will happen to you, because majority of the people pays money to be employed. So if you sit down there, they come and lie to you.
Things we heard.
Yes. So if you sit down there and they come and lie to you and you pay huge sums of money. See, some of the people that have done this employment thing for them, they will not refund the money to them. Some will lose the money. So you should learn that next time. And the NDC, this should go to the president. You too, if you are going, if John Mahama is about leaving power, he should also employ the people before election. Mechanize them. That is the only thing they can do to settle this issue. Once they are mechanized, you can't come and sack them. But if they are not mechanized, any person can come and then sack you. So these are some of the things I have. But it's just...
So it's a lapse in the system you want us to deal with.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Mr. Hoto Wogbai.
Well, Jojo, so to begin this, let me refer you to Luke chapter 6, verse 38.
What do you want me to read?
Oh, no, far from Ken. I can't be Ken. I don't even like wearing white. But I want to quote Luke chapter 6, verse 38 for you. It said, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. A good measure, pressed down and shaken together, running over, shall men give unto your bosom. For the same measure that ye met withal, it shall be measured to you again." Praise the Lord. No, so I remembered listening to the former senior minister, Honorable Yao Safomafo, address this concern before. And he said, if a government that is exiting power will recruit people after the election, that creates problem for the incoming government. And so in 2017, when they took power, he led the charge to disappoint all the people who were...
2,000 people.
Yes. 13,000.
13,000
people.
Public workers.
Public sector workers. 13,000. They were all laid off. He was categorical. He was not, apologetic about it. He was very sure and declared it, and they implemented it. Laid the people off. Did we hear the people cry? Yeah, I don't know. You were sharing your own, story. I said some of us were victims of the NPP winning power in 2016. It has affected us for 8 long years. I will not put my story today for people to hear. It's a story that one day, if I share, you bear with me that I've also been through a couple of things from the wickedness of people who think that they have power, and that
as a Mills administration, will they have people who complain? President Kufuor will have people. John Evans.
So that's why I began with the scripture. But if you ask my opinion, this must have, or the country must have a way to stop this treatment or maybe governance or people who lead or government should be sincere to the people of this country. If I am looking for a job and I have opportunity to be employed, it should be based on my merit, my competence, my certificate. And if I get that job appropriately, then I should be allowed to work. But you do know where the confusion began, or where the mischief is, where the untruth is. It's when we know that in public sector recruitment, every sector must have a clearance from the finance ministry to be able to engage workers. Take, for instance, teachers, nurses. If they don't have clearance from the Minister of Finance, they are not able to engage them. They cannot recruit them. We have heard cries of people who have completed school looking for work, nurses and teachers, and they are not engaged. And the explanation will be that the Ministry of Finance have not given the financial clearance to employ those people.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, as we are talking about these people or this issue today, there are people who have not been able to be employed because they don't have financial clearance from the Ministry of Finance to engage them over the Nana Addo Bawumia administration. Now, we had an election. You've lost an election. And all of a sudden, all kinds of recruitment without even announcement, without people applying for the jobs, you just call, they call you, you go and pick your appointment letters without it. You know, the recruitment doesn't follow any proper laid down procedure. And so my brother here will not be able to even hear about it because he has made himself a cousin to the government. Someone like me, even if I hear about it, unless I sell all my assets and use the money to buy the slots, that's how come these people get the kind of appointment they got. So, without financial clearance from the Ministry of Finance, they were able to recruit all these people. Today, we don't know the number to quote, but I'm sure as the conversation unfolds, we'll get to hear how many people have actually been engaged over the period. That short period when your government is exiting power. And now it is clear that some of those recruitment are basically party people who they want to, last minute push them into, employment positions before they leave power. So that when a new government comes, just as they did, Kufuor did in 2008, in November, before the election, he signed the single spine salary structure down.
Yeah.
He couldn't even start the implementation, but he just signed a contract with the Fair Wages and Salary Commission, and then awaiting the next government to come and implement it. Professor Mills came, he couldn't ignore it, he couldn't abandon it, he has to carry that cross. And how he was able to manage and meander this country through that process and gave us the implementation of that salary structure, only God knows. Now, it is the same thing they are trying to repeat now. See, Jojo, the truth of the matter is, we have heard, especially me, I like talking about the energy sector, because that's what me to my interest is. If you know the kind of recruitment that these people did in SOEs within the energy sector, mind-boggling. As if they don't want anybody to be employed in those places anymore. At least for the few years of the next government.
Vacancies for those employed to occupy?
CSOs have always chastised the kind of recruitment that goes into some of these public enterprises. They say that the places are already choked, overstaffed. Some of the people clearly very redundant in the work. You don't know their job description, you don't know their job line, they just come to work, clearly nothing to do. They are also participating in work. Now, that has been the bane of governance. If you go into many of the public sector, departments. In fact, if you go to Home Municipal Assembly, I tell you, there are many workers over there. If the assembly were run as somebody's private business, there are too many for this assembly. But they are there. They have been recruited as local government employees and posted to the assembly. Who are you, MCU or whatever? You cannot disappoint them. You cannot sack them. You cannot, revoke their appointment.
So you come, no spaces for them to sit, loitering around.
I tell you, total redundancy in many of the public enterprises. And so you realize that the wage bill on many of the state enterprises. Take ECG for instance. Master, if you know the number of people who are working at ECG, some of them you barely know. You wonder what they do there. ECG. If you know, even who here, I'm not talking about Accra or whatever, who here. The number of people who are working there, their staff strength, and how much they have to pay them. No wonder ECG is struggling. Clear redundancy. And we know that before this government was exercising power, they pushed more people there, as if they needed more people. So, now for this government, because John Mahama actually wants to reset this country, I don't see this one as a tit-for-tat situation because it happened in 2017, so it has to repeat itself in 2025. I don't think that is the case. The case is that we all know Ghana is in a very bad state financially. And so if there is redundancy and it is identified, and yet people have been employed, mass recruitment without any proper laid down procedure.
Okay.
Which is just going to add another burden onto the wage bill of these enterprises, state enterprises, and then the department. It is only proper that we take a certain how do you call it? A second look at those employment, reverse them in the meantime. Okay, so that government takes time to audit, what do you call, conduct a head count of our staff strength and be able to sanitize the system. If indeed there's a need for extra hands for people to be recruited to fill in spaces that are left in those departments, I think that, as usual of the NDC, they will announce those what do you call it, job applications. People will apply for it, and then all of us will go through the scrutiny, the interview, whatever, blah blah blah. And if you are qualified on merit, you get it.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean that people are not going to get jobs. I feel very sorry for the innocent people, young people who have computer school and fell into this MPP trap, and it's going to look as though the new NDC government decided to be cruel to them. It has nothing to do with them. It is just because the SY Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government is not truthful to them. Decided to put them into a very bad situation. But we need to clean this country. We need to reset this country. So let us all. Some of us have been unemployed for some time now, but we are not dead. We are living. Only that we can't live the life we wish for ourselves. But it's a time issue. So let them also come back. We will all go through, the next recruitment when the window is open. All of us are going to apply.
All right.
Based on our merit,
that's
we'll
okay.
Get the jobs.
You spent a lot of time on this particular one.
Can I?
Yes, you can.
So, you see, this thing that happened 2017, when President Kufuor was leaving power, and President Atamels resumed the seat. Do you know the man allowed even DCs?
Oh yes.
Yes,
even
DCs.
DCs.
6 months
Yes.
in office.
Good 6 months.
So the man never sacked any public worker.
So father for all.
And you see, he died. After his death, I think John Mahama pick up.
He maintained his
He maintained. He never sacked anybody because it was the same government. Okay. So why would the MPP now come 2017 and sack people? That is my issue. Thinking that because they've employed Ghanaians, they are NDC members. So this is not something that for me I am saying that it should be tit for tat. But then the people came with some wicked mind around 2017, and now they are receiving same. And this should not be like anybody is fighting the NPP. No, nobody is fighting them. But I will also say that my initial stance for saying that what happened, I'm happy about it. I will try to say that I didn't say it well. I'm very sorry. For yes, I'm very sorry. Sure, but you see, the NPP should stop these things. Never should they come back to power again and repeat this kind of attitude.
Okay, so
Sure.
let's see if this government would also do the same after 7 December, still recruiting people, or before then.
Those are jobs me I won't take.
Even
After we have lost election, you are giving me job.
After
No,
elections.
even
I
if
am
they
too wise
do,
to fall for this trap.
I'm coming.
I won't
Even
take
if they do, look at the past precedent.
I
That
won't
a
take.
president
So
came
this
and
is to
even
the
maintained.
individuals who will
The
be-
individuals too.
Yes.
I won't take.
That the president came and maintained.
We've been in
your
power for
own-
8 years. You're not able to identify me as a loyal party person to give me job. When we have lost election, you are pushing me into an employment. I won't take it. Let me rather be.
Let's do the next one. With time, we spent time on the first story, a lot of time on that one. So, Baba inaugurates 19-member task force for 120-day contract with Ghanaians. So, the detail says President John Dramani Mahama has officially inaugurated a 19-member task force dedicated to fulfilling his 120-day social contract. The task force will oversee the implementation of the promises made by President Mahama as outlined in the 26-page contract. These promises include key economic reforms, governance standards, and social interventions. Among the prominent initiatives are the scrapping of controversial taxes such as the e-levy, betting tax, conducting audits into high-profile corruption scandals, and the constitution of the leanest and most efficient government under the Fourth Republic within the first 120 days of his administration. The task force is chaired by Dr. Valerie Sawyer, Senior Presidential Advisor. We have the rest of the names here being the sector ministers of finance, energy, trade, agribusiness and industry, attorney general, education, tourism, youth development. We have gender, we have health, employment, minister for land and mineral resources, communications, environment, the presidential advisor on the 24-hour economy, and national security advisor, director of operations, presidential advisor, and special aide to the president. So these are the members constitute or formed as a task force to oversee the implementation of the social contract with the people, the 26-page contract. And we are having sector ministers in there to play this role. So I think Molly William just spoke, so let me give it to Molly. Yes.
Thank you. So, you know, at best, you can describe the 19-member committee as the cabinet. Because if you look at the membership, these are substantive cabinet ministers that the president has put together to oversee the implementation of the 120-day social contract with the Ghanaian people. Now, the 120-day, it starts from January 7th. So let's say about April 7th, somewhere there, we should be wrapping up on the 120-day. So this is a president who meant to deliver on those promises. He wants to tick the boxes, not just ticking them, but actually ensure that the issues captured there are actually dealt with, and so that we can say they are achieved completely. And so it doesn't just want to leave it to chance, so that you know, if it happens, it happens. If it does not, we'll say, well, we tried, but we couldn't do all. But no, John Mahama is tackling this government or governance this time around with some level of seriousness. If you look at everything he wants to tackle it with a certain level of maturity and experience. So this time around, he has put up this committee, 90 members. So you see, some of the issues fall directly under certain ministries. So the sector minister, you are looking into that contract. Which one falls under you? Make sure you deliver it. You have no excuse. I think that is a more reason.
Yes, even if there's a need.
There's the need.
For
and then the chairman of the committee, Dr. Valerie Sawyer, is going to serve as a supervisor, you know, monitoring and supervisor, making sure that every sector minister who has a duty to play, who has a specific role to play in any of those contracts, social contract with the people, the 120-day contract, anyone that fall under any of the ministries, the sector minister is tasked to make sure deliver it. For example, when we talk about, you know, scrapping the e-levy, betting tax, and then those ones that has to do with the finance ministry, her duty will be to ensure that the next budget, the finance minister takes care of that. And every other issue that falls within, you know, the executive itself. You know, John Mahama actually said that within 14 days he will form his cabinet. I think he has done that. He had done that. And so any other thing that fall within the sectorial dimensions of all other ministers, Dr. Valerie Sawyer's duty is to ensure that she's reminding, she's monitoring, she's supervising all the other ministers to deliver on those promises. So that at the end of the day, if you are called Minister for Foreign Affairs, you know, you are not able to deliver on this mandate that the president has promised as part of the 120 days contract. Why?
So the finance is there.
You have
foreign
issues.
Is not there.
I'm just using that as an example. But all the other sector ministers, local government, and all of them, we are talking about social reforms. The president also talked about coming out with a code of conduct for public sector workers.
Yeah.
It's also part of the social contract. And I'm looking at that is going to be a multi-sectorial, you know, dimension of coming out with that code of conduct. And that is also part of the job that this committee must sit down and address with the technocrat, coming out with that blueprint of conduct for social, public sector workers. So, forming up this committee with these caliber of people, sector ministers with specific roles, I think that the president meant well. He wants to deliver. He doesn't want to leave it to chance. He's actually giving all of them a very tactful responsibility to ensure that he achieved it.
Okay.
And
so you think with this one, they'll be able to monitor them if these policies or promises are being implemented well?
You know, Jijo, you see, governance is about leadership. When the leader gives the charge, give the command, everybody follows. This is about giving the charge and a mandate, clear mandate, deliver it.
Okay.
You understand?
So they are
if the president,
all of them
if the president has not made any comment on this, everybody is just left to hear their ministries do whatever they want to do, and then at the end of the 20 days, we want to see whether the boxes are ticked. Then we'll have a problem because there is no direction, there is no instruction to the sectorial ministers to take charge of the things that fall under their domain. But this one shows that there's a charge, there's a command, there's a direction, there is a directive that you must follow as sectorial minister to ensure. And you have somebody who is also supervising you, ensuring that what falls under you administer it and you implement it. I think this is the way to go.
All right. William?
Yeah. So I would just say that the 19 members should do whatever tax is given to them, because Ghanaians are still in a very high expectation of them in delivering the social contracts. I think one of them is the e-levy, right?
Yes, the taxes.
They are looking at
mission levy, betting tax.
They are looking at the government delivering on those nuisance taxes. And we are also looking at some of us who are entrepreneurs are also looking at opportunities that we can at least tap on and help our businesses. So in the agricultural sector and the rest, we are looking at empowerment in those areas. Yesterday I saw the youth development minister also part of the team, so I know very well that they'll kickstart some few interventions in that ministry. One thing is they should at least do the thing with all carefulness, implement the projects without any issue, because the MPP will not, or Ghanaians will not accept any form of problem in their implementation. So I know the president is still looking up to them to help him build the legacy that he's looking at. So they just have to do the right thing and make Ghana proud, and also empower the people that give them the power. Sure.
All right. Empower the people that gave them the power.
Sure.
9 minutes. You have any contributions to make? Let's do this one lastly. Bahama directs Finance Minister to address $156 million US aid funding gap. President John Ramani Mahama has directed Finance Minister Dr. Kesel Atoforson to take urgent steps to address the funding gap created by the suspension of the United States Agency for International Development Programs, USAID, or USAID. February 11 statement from the presidency highlighted Mahama's deep concern over their estimated $156 million US dollars deficit, warning of its potential impact on the critical health and social intervention programs of particular agency is a $78.2 million shortfall, which threatens essential services such as malaria prevention, malaria and child health care, family planning, reproductive health, and nutrition. The funding gap also jeopardizes Ghana's fight against HIV and AIDS by restricting access to antiretroviral drugs, testing, and preventive measures. To mitigate these effects, President Mahama has instructed the Finance Minister to prioritize agent interventions and implement immediate funding solutions to prevent disruptions in healthcare and social services. So we have the full letter here from the presidency. So this is where we find ourselves. We've been swimming in this support for a very long time. Little did we know that a day like this is coming. I'm not sure we've been preparing for days like this. But here we are, facing the reality. It's been cut. We won't have them again.
This is my field, the NGO sector. And we have been, most of our platforms, we've been very sad about the news. If truly the American government will cut this fund, it is not.
You still don't believe it has been cut?
I think it is in the process. And this morning there is a communique that some few NGOs out there in the US have taken the government to court on this particular matter. It is not for this USID money that comes to Ghana. It's not for the government to use maybe on different things. It's for specific health.
Social intervention.
Yes, through that they get the ACE drug, the antiretroviral drugs for us. It helps a lot of sectors.
The mosquito nets.
Malaria, sure.
Testing kits.
Sure. So if they cancel this amount, it means the government must cough out.
The very things that when they send them, you allow them to rot at the port.
That only happened under it only happened under under MPP. So I am only saying that now that the president is asking the finance minister to cover up that gap, it means that Ghana, it means we are cutting part of our budget to support something that we didn't plan for. And it will have a whole lot of pressure on the government. So some of us are still praying that these NGOs that are taking the federal government to court in US should succeed. If they succeed, fine, it will help. Because
so it means some away from government issues, some NGOs will be collapsing. Because most of them, apart from Canada, is USA.
Even here. Because it is not only even purchasing the mosquito net. USAID, they give funding to NGOs to implement even awareness programs on maternity, malaria. Sure. So if you are not getting the funding, it means that your NGO,
even with the funding, and it is like this, then what will happen without the funding?
Have you seen? So we have been in a very sad mood.
I can imagine.
But when we heard the president asking the finance minister to at least close the gap, there was a little bit of happiness on their platforms, and I think that's a good call. And President Mahama is always surprising we Ghanaians, and in a very positive manner. This time around, I think the man is doing the right things, and he should just continue in this manner, and he will leave a very good legacy. So,
all right, Mauli,
it's a good call.
So I wish we had a lot of time to actually delve into this matter, because USAID
you
support to Ghana and many other African countries is very huge.
Yes,
multi-sector, sectoral.
Agri.
Yes, so it cuts across many places. So, but today let's just focus on their intervention in health.
Sure.
So when the president said that, the U.S. president said they are canceling it, believe it. For Donald Trump, you can't take him on this matter. Those people do not win that case. The man has issued an executive directive, and so the thing is already in process. No aid will come from U.S. to us anymore in terms of USAID. So it is time for Ghana and Africa to begin to take matters that concerns us into our own hands.
Yeah,
it's our health. We cannot leave it in the hands of people to fund it. Supply of drugs, malaria drugs. We want to always get funding from US
so
before
these are
we get
things
malaria
given
drugs
out
for
for free. You
it's
take the
unfair.
mosquito nets, you go and use it in your backyard gardens.
Can you imagine?
Whatever.
People use it to trap other things apart from mosquito in their rooms.
So if you don't have it again.
So maybe they have conducted an investigation around the Africans are just misusing, is abusing the funds or misapplying the funds, and so this is our own money. Let's take it. This people, let them also go and take care of themselves. So thank God we have a president who knows how to take care of, tough situations. So he has taken the charge and said, look, fill the gap, look for money, and fund the things that are necessary. For example, supply of drugs for our health. I'm sure that the finance minister will do just that. So antiretroviral drugs, antiretroviral drugs for our, friends and families who are suffering from HIV/AIDS will not stop coming. I'm sure John Mahama will take care of it. The malaria treatment will not stop coming. You won't go to hospital because USAID funding is not coming. And so you say that you have to buy, even antibiotics all the time. Those issues will be taken care of. But the fact is, the point I want to land on is that it is time for us to take our destiny into our hands. So let's embrace it. Let's work hard to make sure that we are able to live beyond this issue.
All right. We have a few minutes more to take a leave of you and the morning show today. I remember that Heritage Christian University They are, open for admission, undergraduate programs, BA Communication Studies, BA Psychology, BBA Accounting, BBA Accounting with Computing, BBA Accounting and Finance, BBA Entrepreneurship and Tech, Innovation. We have BBA Human Resource Management, BBA Logistics and Supply Chain Management, BBA Marketing, BSc Business Information Technology, BSc Information Security, BSc Information Technology, BSc Multimedia Technology, BSc Midwifery, BSc Nursing, Bachelor of Communications Development and Theology, Bachelor of Theology and Ministry. They have 1 year master's program, MSc Accounting and Taxation, MSc Accounting and Finance, MSc Human Resource Management, MA Christian Studies. Professional programs, ICM UK, ICAG, ICBRSC, IMG, CIHRM, and ABE UK. Skills-based training are also available. Agribusiness short courses, IT short courses, media short courses, and they are affiliated to a lot of notable institutions as well. Dial *789 *300 hash, *789 hash 300 *789 *300 hash to buy your form. They are accredited by GTech, and call them on 0551 026 164 0551 026 164. Locate the school behind Olympic Stadium, Amansaman in Accra. So that's Heritage Christian University. Nejisuku Kokobe at there. Abenya Salau, Onyameyo Basrono Yokata Meyo Dongo, Masters Solo and a master's program, so professional programs, so skill-based training programs, so undergraduate programs, so Kata Kule Pole from a hostel facility, so will available. So eligible boy practicals are attached to the theory, and monopoko so sukufio si wo gere fio hia be na wa gere do pe US so do pe no sosoro no na wa ho hehe memia wako akpede wo pe no sosoro unti tamia achi akakpelo www.hcuc.edu.gh. All right, so back to my guests to take their final messages. I wanted to, allow for our listeners, but we won't. Please conclude for us. Sorry.
Of course. So, Jojo, just to say that, when we fight corruption, we'll have enough money to take care of ourselves in this country. If we're able to, close our leakages in revenue mobilization.
Sure we can do
under
that.
declaration of revenue by state enterprises. If we are able to improve on our revenue management, we should be able to have money so that even if USAID did not come, Ghana should have money to take care of
We've
ourselves.
had the policy before Ghana beyond aid.
Oh, yes, of course. But even that, it failed. But I'm hoping that when we have the mindset that we want to take our own destiny into our hand, take care of ourselves, you cannot say that because somebody has been giving you food, now that the person is dead, then you must die too. You cannot say that. You must be able to feed yourself, even if support did not come. So it's time for us to, come home, accept the responsibility, know that our life is in our hands, our health is in our hands, our development is in our hands, so that we work towards, living a life without depending on people.
All right.
I don't have much to say.
I've concluded for you.
Sure. But just to say that we are still hoping in this NDC government to do the right things. At least they should look at the people that they are revoking their appointments and see how best they can. Is it temper?
Oh, no. For them, they should come home. They'll be fine. We'll engage them.
Okay. So, then thank you very
All right,
much
thank
for the
you.
day.
Yeah. Have a great day, gentlemen. Hope to see you some other time. Okay, so the 12th day of February, as edition of the Global Morning Show has come to an end. And this is the package we have for you today. God willing, tomorrow, Thursday, the show continues. Friday, it continues again. Eban Bates is up next with the team. The Morning Show team, Frisco's Akon, Frank Abo, making sure we were live terms, and then myself, Joyce Jijo Afola. Thank you so much for listening, and to our sponsors, we appreciate your sponsorship and can also sponsor us. But if you have any concern you want to draw attention to, always send us a text on 0203 766 500. My name once again, Joyce Jijo Afola. I wish you the very best of the day.